Then on the strand, with steeds and treasure, and armor their roomy and ring-dight ship was heavily laden. High its mast rose over Hrothgar's hoarded gems. A sword to the boat guard Beowulf gave, mounted with gold. On the mead bench, since he was better esteemed, that blade possessing heirloom old. Their ocean keel boarding, they drove through the deep, and Daneland left. A sea-cloth was set, a sail with ropes firm to the mast, the flood timbers moaned. Nor did wind over billows that wave-swimmer blow across from her course. The craft sped on, foam-necked it floated forth o'er the waves, keel firm-bound over briny currents, till they got them sight of the Geatish cliffs, home-known headlands. High the boat, stirred by winds, on the strand updrove. Helpful at haven the harbour guard stood, who long already for loved companions by the water had waited and watched afar. Dramatic music fades out. What's going on, everybody? Welcome, Arvanauts. Welcome, everybody, to a Tuesday stream. This is July 23rd, 2024. It's just about 12:30 p.m. Eastern in the year of our Lord, 2024, etc., etc. It is also the second to last stream, last Tuesday stream, excuse me, the second to last Tuesday stream before we head out for Gen Con and the beginning of Arv's August travels. Arv's August is going to be a very busy August, but I am excited for it, and I can't wait for all of the stuff that we're about to do. Over the next few weeks, it's going to be super amazing, and I'll talk about that a little bit as we go on here. But before I do that, just a couple of reminders. It's good to see everybody, and just a couple of reminders about ways to support the channel. Hello to Sparky and to Hillness and to Triffid and to Geister, and welcome everybody. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about what we got going on. If you haven't done so already, please follow the channel. Please check out our YouTube with !ArvTube, and if you're watching me over there, welcome. And if you are, please consider subscribing to me on YouTube. We are at an all-time high in subscribers, and we would love to see that number continue to build up. I am super excited. August Elleron, I love that. I'm super excited for everything that we've got going on the YouTube channel, which is going to be awesome. Also, don't forget to check out Gen GMs, which is the show that I do with Zach Clay. Content is going to be on a more regular basis now. We just recorded our new long video, which is going to be getting posted probably next week. But we've got new shorts on the way and all that, so definitely check out Gen GMs as well. But yes, my YouTube channel, !ArvTube. Discord, !ArvCord, where you can hang out with the Arvanauts in between streams. Twitter is !ArvTweets, Blue Sky, !ArvSky, website arvanelleron.com. Financially, !ArvShop, that's the merchandise area where you can get a lot of stuff relating to this channel. !ArvTreon is the Patreon, that's really the financial backbone of the channel and really helps us do a lot of stuff, including commission art and videos and all that kind of good stuff. So please consider supporting us there. You can also, when you do that, get inspirations to help our players and other cool swag and things that you can get. You can do that as well by subbing to the channel, and the subbing to the channel gives you different things than the Patreon does. You get those custom sub badges and emotes to use here, there, and everywhere across Twitch. I tried to make it so that they don't overlap very much, so that there's incentive for you to think about getting both. But one thing that is the same is that if you support at a high enough tier when you sub, you can also get an inspiration to help the players in our tabletop games as well. So definitely consider that. That would be lovely. !Arv So yes, subbing to the channel is great for that. On the publishing side, Exclamation Point Icarus, that's my graphic novel from Athos Arts. Exclamation Point Library is my Tales and Tomes from the Forbidden Library, my best-selling 5e adventure and supplement. And in case you're curious, the last adventure of a trilogy of adventures, which is the sequel, kind of the follow-up to the adventures found in Night of the Forbidden Library. I'll be running that at the Gen Con Writers Symposium next week, literally a week from this Friday. So finishing up writing that now as we speak. So I am super excited about that. That's going to be a good time. So again, you can join us for that, and you can check out that adventure with Exclamation Point Library. And of course, my Greyshade IP. Super excited about this. Exclamation Point Greyshade. That's Greyshade and Renegade, the first 2 books of the Grey Assassin trilogy from Athos Arts, available right now at that link. You can also get the audiobook of Greyshade by our very own Trent Sparks. That's very cool too. And you can pre-order Greyshade, the tabletop role-playing game, coming to you from Alligator Alley and Brandon O'Brien. Very excited about that. That's going to be coming out late this year. And of course, so we've got that. And of course, you can also pre-order the final book of the Grey Assassin trilogy called Heretic, which is going to be out in literally 1 week. 1 week from today is the official release date of that book. It's getting close now, y'all. But also on Sunday, this coming Sunday, I have a special pre-release event happening at BlackRock Books, an independent bookstore in Bridgeport, Connecticut. We are RSVPing, and we're actually starting to see some good numbers of people getting in there based on it's not a big store, so, it's tight there. So if you were in the Southern Connecticut, Southern New England area and would like to come be the first person to be able to get, of the general public, to be able to get a copy of the print versions of Heretic, I'll also be able to sign and sell you Greyshade and Renegade copies as well. Don't worry, I got you. That's 5:30 p.m. on Sunday, so that's going to be super cool, and I'm super excited about that too. Let me see. There's one other thing that I'll announce in a little bit, but anyway, that's going to be happening on Sunday, so I'm super excited for that. And again, all of that you can find out at Exclamation Point Greyshade. What if you ordered 4 copies somehow? See, that's the thing, Illness. You always are just like, you do such a good job ordering things, and then I always feel guilty because you order so much. But I have always appreciated your support, my friend, as you know. Yeah, and as always, Exclamation Point BLM, Black Lives Matter. And for some reason, I'm feeling very good these days about that particular tag, even though I won't get into this right now, except to say that I think it's pretty amazing that we have the potential to do something historic in just a few short months here in the United States. And I hope that people will keep that in mind when they get ready to go to the polls in November. It's really important. Everyone needs to be out there voting against fascism. It's a very clear choice. And so we're going to be talking about that more as we get closer to the election. So Exclamation Point BLM for that. Exclamation Point Help Now. That's the World Health Organization page on suicide prevention. Very important to reach out to others when you need help and reach out to others when they need help as well. The 3 copies were an accident. That's what I mean. That's right, Illness. That's right. I'm just here for the MFA. And then, of course, Exclamation Point Ukraine, Ukraine, to help the people of Ukraine. That's another reason to vote in November. To help the people of Ukraine fight back against an illegal and illegitimate war with bravery and courage, and send the message we will do so for others in the future as well. Now, one quick schedule note. Now, today we have got Beowulf Horror at Herrogate with TariToons, and I'm going to be introducing you and chatting with Tari in just a minute. But then this afternoon, we have had a schedule change. Unfortunately, one of our players has had a real-life situation come up, which means that we will not be able to do Ghosts of Saltmarsh. That's too bad, because I wanted to do one more session with By the Dice Roll before we have our live event in August. I do want to encourage you, if you're coming to me from somewhere in Europe, and specifically somewhere in Europe where you'd like to travel, I would love to see you folks. I was just talking to TariToons about this. I would love to see you folks live at this event, which is happening at the Omnibus Theatre, the Clapham Omnibus Theatre, August 17th in southern London. I would love to see you there, and I already know there's some people who are going to be there that are on this channel that I have talked to about that. But it would be great if you're going to be there. First of all, please do consider it if you can. But either way, it's like £7.50, but we really do need to keep selling tickets for it. So please do go and buy those tickets, because it is going to be really helpful to us to be able to have a sense of the books that we can bring and all that kind of stuff. So live event in person, where you get to meet some of your favorite Arvanaut personalities, as it were. Very excited for that. But please do consider going to buy the dice roll. That is now officially, that page is now the right page. It's all super secure and it loads pretty quickly and all that. So please go there and get tickets for that. But in any case, that's the group that I'm playing with this afternoon. But one of the players is unable to make it. And so as a result, we are going to have a bit of a difference. It is going to be Barony. So we're going to be playing a multiplayer game of Barony, and it is going to be at a minimum myself. I believe it's going to be me, Undeveloped Bruce, Pyron Jade, and Darksaber 2K. So the four of us are going to be playing Barony. Barony is ridiculous, and it's super fun, and I've had a chance to play it once. It was a blast, even though I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So it's going to be great. That's going to be happening over on GOG.com's Twitch channel this afternoon, and that is going to be the last GOG stream for me, the last Pen and Pixel stream, for at least a couple of weeks. There is a chance I'll be able to get one in on August 6th, right after Gen Con. I might be able to get a GOG stream in, but then I'm definitely going to be off again for the 13th and the 20th because I'm going to be in England, and I'm going to talk a little more about my plans for basically the next 3.5 weeks or so on Thursday. So I'll talk more about that when we get there. But Barony time is going to be this afternoon, so that's going to be fun. Okay, so I am going to unmute myself and let Tari know that we are ready to go, and then I am going to unmute her. And last but certainly not least, I am going to go over to reveal to you, wait, the sound of the notifications, which, oh, there it is. What's up, Effect Life? 39 months. They've subscribed for 30 months in advance. Wow, I didn't even know you could do that. Thank you, Effect Life. Very bold. What happened? Listen, sometimes life comes at you fast. What happens if, for example, like let's say that there's a major political party that right now has a vice presidential candidate that makes jokes about Diet Mountain Dew that everyone really hates. What if, they decide that they want to replace that guy? What if it turns out that 30 months from now, I decide that I too am going to not be available and I'm going to be replaced? I'm joking. So it says they subscribed, according to this on my thing, it says they've subscribed for 39 months. And then it says they subscribed for 30 months in advance. That's what it says. It said that on my message. Do you see it? You can even see it on Twitch. Do you see it on the screen? They subscribed for 39 months. They subscribed for 30 months in advance. Maybe you subscribed before in advance or something, and then you have a yearly subscription. I don't know. Apparently they think that you've subscribed for longer than that. I don't know. Either way, Effect Life, it's good to see you, man. I hope all's well. Very excited to meet you in person next month. Also, this very troubled expression that you see on Tari's face is because of getting the camera fixed. Why is this person calling me now? I don't have time for you to call me now. So yes, but maybe I don't see flashing. Maybe.
Hello?
It looks like it works.
Yeah, I hope so.
It looks like it's working.
Yeah, for now. Zoom is kind of having a stroke. I don't know what's happening.
Zoom being Zoom. Well, hi, Tari. It's good to see you.
Hi.
Okay, so now with Tari on here, I wanted to mention this quickly. So you were going to get a chance. You think that it's just like, maybe you're like, all right, whatever. I see Arv every week. Like, I don't really care. Like, whatever. Yes, but did you know that if you go to this August 17th event, you will be able to meet such notable figures as Emily the Invincible in chat, as Effect Life in chat, as Classicor, not currently in chat, but going to be in chat, as, well, that's really all. No, just kidding. As TariToons is going to be in chat, you will be able to meet TariToons. Tari will draw characters for everyone in the audience. I'm just kidding. No, Tari won't do that. But you will get a chance to meet Tari.
Well, I mean, if there's time for that, I might actually, so.
Well, listen, I wasn't trying to, All right, then. You heard it here first. Maybe you'll get...
It's not a promise. This is just, like, I don't know the logistics of the place and whatever, and what, like, the plans are for the evening, so...
Yeah. It's not a promise, but it's a possibility, chat. So, yes, Tari managed to get her passport just in time. Yes, she did. But she did. So it's true that renowned German efficiency rooted through the consulate in the Netherlands somehow worked. and and Tari managed to do it. I'm super excited to see Tari. It's going to be great.
Oh,
so
in the end,
yes,
the consulate wasn't the issue anymore. Like in the
was it?
beginning, yeah, because like it was like really difficult to get an appointment because of like Corona. They had like a huge backlog. They still had like a fucking backlog for Brexit.
Wow.
Like it was that bad.
Wow.
They basically have like one office to take care of like all of the German immigrants living in the Netherlands, which is a lot, mind you. So, but like in the end, the issue was like the city hall from the last place I lived in, because they were being a little tardy, you know, just not great. Trying to get into contact with somebody there because like I was missing one form, like one piece of paperwork that I didn't even know I needed. So
wow. But they got it. So, and it's good for like 10 years,
out.
right? It's good for 10 years or something. Okay. So see, this will be perfect for our next series of events.
What the hell?
Oh no, the camera. Oh no.
Can we reboot Zoom?
Yes, go ahead and reboot, and I'll talk to the chat about well, do you want me to reboot? You want to okay. Hi, I am both myself and now TariToons, but larger than you could ever imagine. Okay. Tari will come back in and we'll be back on. So I do have an announcement though. Yes, butter cheese is Tari's handle on Discord as well, and that's because Tari really loves cheese. I'm just saying. Now there are two of them. Really loves cheese. So I do have an announcement, chat, and I was going to save this, but I will make this announcement now. I'll make it over on GOG. This announcement is related to Forbidden Library. Let me bring Tari back in first and see if it's working. All right, hang on a second. Bringing Tari back in. Hang in there. Working. Hello. You know, are you sure that I guess the connection's okay, Tari, but I was going to say, like, because I know you said you kicked out the wire by accident. Maybe that's like loose and that's why it's causing.
Yeah, no, I like earlier while we were talking and I was troubleshooting, I like unplugged and replugged everything. So it's not the cable or anything.
Okay.
And also like I have like a screen on my camera and that one's also not flashing. So it's not the camera itself. It has to be either the connection to my PC or Zoom.
Okay, or Zoom.
Or Windows, alternatively.
Great. that narrows it down. Yeah, like, exactly. CrowdStrike, maybe?
Known to work without any issues in recent days, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's always the way. All right, so I'm going to. I was making this announcement while you were gone, so I'll make this quick. So, chat, if you have watched Night of the Forbidden Library, and I know some of you have, I know Hilnis has, I know Emily has, and you've been part of this, you will know that in the last live event that I did at the Klein Memorial Auditorium in Bridgeport, without spoiling something, there is an accomplice to a villainous character that is dealt with in part 2. If you want more, you'll have to see the videos of this. And that accomplice escapes. Why is that important? Because I am happy to announce for the first time in public that I am going to be doing a probably and almost certainly limited run podcast, not live streamed, but a limited run podcast at the Klein Memorial Auditorium with Carlos Hernandez, C.S.E. Cooney, Adam Petrosino, and Zach Clay. 3 of those people, Carlos, Claire, and Adam, will be live and in person with me at the Klein. And the 4th person, Zach, will be joining us remotely. And we will be doing a podcast of this. And I'm going to be talking to Triffid about that actually fairly soon, about editing said podcast. There will be a vidcast portion of it, but the vidcast portion is going to have a couple of cameras, and it's going to be very much like, not DIY, because it is being held at the Klein. It's not going to be on the main stage. It's going to be at a top floor in the Klein has this art gallery, which is where we're going to be recording it. But I have gotten, I'm ready for the experience, because not 1, not 2, but 3 Samson Go mics, along with the one that I already possess, to record all of the people that will be with me. And we are going to be doing this podcast. It is going to be a once a month recorded affair that will then be distributed, very much the way we did Curse of Strahd, where we did like a 3 or 4 or 5 hour session. And then we would cut from that 45-minute to hour-long segments that would go out as vidcasts. Well, that's going to be like this, except it will be a generally 2.5 to 3 hour session that will be cut into 3 roughly 45-minute, half hour to 45-minute, depending, sessions. And I'll be talking to Triffid more about that when we get there. And that is going to be posted on my website. It's going to be on a separate playlist on YouTube. But the thing that's really important here is it is going to cover the basically the search for the accomplice that tried to help this villain. So if you're like, well, how do I find out about that? If you go to my channel and you watch the Forbidden Library, Night of the Forbidden Library and Return to the Forbidden Library, which is about 6 hours total, I think, 3 hours and then 3 hours, then you'll be caught up. And from there, you'll be able to join us for the podcast, which at the moment I believe we are calling Hearthglow. And that is after Hearthglow Academy, which is where this is originally taking place. So the podcast Hearthglow will be recording officially this coming Friday. And I am planning to launch that podcast sometime probably starting in late August. So basically when I get back from England is when we're going to launch this, and then we're going to be periodically putting these things out. So very excited about that. I think it's going to be really awesome. And it will be much more sort of audio format based to begin with. We even have one of those microphones I showed you is going to be used to capture the sound of the dice as it rolls. So very excited about that. And that is something I've had in the works for a while. And so I'm excited for it to start happening very, very soon. So letting you know it's going to be super cool. There is going to be a podcast called Hearthglow, which covers the period of time. Think of it like the search for Spock or the search for Gollum, trying to track down this character. So that's going to be the plan. It's going to be awesome. I see that I have successfully managed to use up the good camera time with poor Tari. Tari's trying to get her camera functional because it's...
I'm just going to switch over to the stupid old Logitech webcam.
Yeah.
This is not going to work.
Yeah.
That's what you get for trying to use good equipment.
Yep. Exactly.
Quality equipment.
You just need to use the old...
You break out the ye old faithful.
Yep. The Logitech that takes a licking and keeps on ticking. That's what it does.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, so I'm happy about that. So the name of the podcast will be Hearthglow. Again, it will be available on my YouTube channel. It will be coming out roughly 3 times a month, I think is the plan. And like I said, Triffid, I will talk to you a little bit about this over the next couple of days about what this is going to look like. But you were asking me about what the plans were going to be now that we're wrapping up Shire Adventures. The Shire Adventures podcast is wrapped up, and now you know. So very excited for that, and I will definitely be asking people to spread the word about that. It basically covers the gap between part 2 of Forbidden Library and part 3 of Forbidden Library, which is called Beyond the Forbidden Library. This will be in that section in between. So going to be very cool. Carlos, Claire, Adam, and me live at the Klein Art Gallery, and then Zach remotely. Oh, and one last thing, which is that as a part of that, if we are able to get the funding from people who are watching this podcast and supporting the podcast, there may be another live event at the Klein in our future covering that final part of the Forbidden Library trilogy of adventures. So we will see. Anyway, very exciting. As you see, I have not been idle. I've been trying to do stuff. Now, the time has come for us to come back to Tari, who's got a functional camera again.
Don't jinx it.
Good old faithful. Yeah, I know exactly. Now it's going to be. Tari, it's good to see you. How are you? How is life in the universe? On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for the upcoming August event where we get to meet each other in person for the first time? And who are you playing this evening?
Oh, 11, of course.
Yay, me too.
Like, I'm super fucking excited.
Yeah.
Especially, like, because of all the pain of getting the stupid
I know, right?
passport.
Yeah.
My God, it was a fucking odyssey, let me tell you. Like, actually, it's... And also fucking expensive. Like, how much did I pay with, like, train tickets and everything? Like, probably $200? More, maybe?
Oh, no.
Yeah, because like you have to go there in person, and like the consulate is in Amsterdam, which is in theory not that far away.
So
but
just to get the pass, oh man, that's dedication, Tari.
And like I had to pay extra to then have them ship the passport to me to send it via mail.
Right.
And like because like they expect people to come pick these up in person, right? But like that would of course be much more expensive because I would.
Isn't that offensive to everybody else in the Netherlands? Like the only place that matters is Amsterdam. What the hell? Like you know.
I mean, like that's just what. I mean, to be fair, like most foreigners do move to that area. It's like the thing, like to most foreigners outside of like that area does not exist.
I see.
Yeah, that's like the whole idea that like the Netherlands always gets like reduced to the Randstad area.
Yep. I mean that happens in New York,
of course
where
everybody hates.
Everyone in New York State gets mad because New York City is like the only thing anybody ever thinks about in New York State. It was ever thus. Well, I am super
grateful. To be fair, the
grateful
naming does not help. You know, that like the state and the city have the same name.
That's true. Well, and you think about it, right? Like there's multiple, you know, like Buffalo's a big city, Syracuse is a big city, Albany is a big city, all in New York State. But again, all that anybody ever thinks about is like New York City, like, you know.
Yeah, I didn't even know those were in New York State. So
yeah, but it's far. New York is a big state. Anyway, I'm super excited that we're gonna get a chance to see you.
Big city too.
And you and we'll have a chance to see you, and people will get a chance to meet you in person. It's gonna be awesome. But who are you playing this afternoon, Tari? I may ask.
I am playing Gino Fefa, who is a freshly baked adventurer leader type. Freshly baked hero. Who
that should have been my subtitle. Horror at Herrogate, freshly baked hero. That should have been my subtitle.
Yum. Fresh out of the oven.
Yep.
Who used to be basically right-hand woman to Hunsilt, who perished on the island that we had traveled to. But now she literally picked up her sword. And is now taking her place. Trying to fill the large footsteps that Hunsilt has left behind. And that's not just because Hunsilt had bigger feet than her.
Though that's true.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, that's yes. So Genevieve is with us, and actually, we had the chance to talk a little bit about her. But one of the things that Tari mentioned as I was prepping for this that I thought was interesting was that Tari also is learning about this character as she's playing her. Right, like this gets sort of realized through play. And I think that's fascinating. I actually think this is the first time in all my many years of GMing that I've had someone pick up a character directly connected to that other character that they had. You know, like I've had obviously people die, you know, characters die and whatever.
I did that before, mate. When? I remind you with Shire Adventures.
Yeah, but that wasn't because
Granny
of the death
grandmother of one Laura Hopesinger.
That's right, but that
was one of the player characters in.
That's true, but that's not the same thing because Laura didn't die. This isn't I have to pick up the. Well, that's true. Yeah. Well, that's dark. I didn't. No one ever dies there.
It also got very dark in Moria, mind you.
That's true. But no, this is like the first time that like, you know, the character picks up the mantle. So I am excited. And it's been so long since we played 3 weeks ago that I had forgotten that since that time I've also had the chance to watch an episode of Vicky the Viking using the right music this time.
Nice.
And you were 100% right. The English dub music is garbage in comparison to the actual good music. Because I was like, this is kind of cringe. Okay. And when I put it in Discord and you were like, what the hell is this? And I forget if it was Effect Life, someone else, I forget who it was always like, what the hell is this?
Was my boyfriend, it was Nari.
Oh, yes, right. Who was like, what the hell is this? And then they put up the actual good one. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a banger right there. Like, I don't know what the hell the rest of it was.
I'm assuming most places have like a translated version of that song. I don't know what the original Japanese is like. But I know that Germany and the Netherlands have that version. But
they were just all so much better than the US dub. I don't know. It was terrible. Anyway, regardless. Yes. Go ahead.
Or is there like a separate US dub?
Well, I mean, I shouldn't say that. Or the English dub. Like, all I know is that the music was just... I don't understand it. It was not at all like it. Like, it wasn't anywhere close. Like,
yeah, that just happens.
I don't, anyway, but let us talk about what happened in our last session, and let's get Genevieve here on her merry way. In our last session, we were introduced. There we go. Let me get my music going again. Hold on a second. Yeah, there it is. In our last session, we were introduced to Genevieve as more than just a follower. We were introduced to Genevieve the hero. And in case you're curious and you're like, well, what about the other followers that are there? Let me show you what we have. You can see that we now have 4 followers because Genevieve is no longer one of them. But the followers who had gone after Runesild have now followed Genevieve as she continues her heroic journey. And Genevieve, upon arriving back, still, grief-stricken at the loss of her friend, was confronted by a merchant, Ingvold the merchant, also aisle 3 in IKEA, who explained certain things about what had happened. Specifically, that there was an area which was originally well known for trade that had gone almost completely silent. Boats were not going to or from, and the reason apparently was because of some mysterious creature. The rumor is that the dead themselves had come back to life and stalked the earth and were essentially threatening the people of Herrogate. Now, part of that might have just been a merchant wanting to maintain his trade route, except that when the Genevieve and company inquired further, they discovered that it was Ingvar, Ingvold's son, Ingvar, who had been also lost at sea with a trade boat that was supposedly doing this trade route somewhere around Herrogate. And so Ingvold, who had originally been planning to hire Runesild until Runesild was no longer appearing in this picture, then hired Genevieve and said that Genevieve and company need to find out what it is that has happened. So, aided by her followers, Genevieve agreed that this is what needed to happen and set off to Herrogate. Now, whereas our last... Oh, go ahead, yes.
She first went to
the king. That's right.
Had an audience with King Sigiheri.
That's right. That's right. Yes, had an audience with the king in which she explained what had happened to Runesild, what she was planning to do to try to pick up the banner, from there, and also to hear from the king about what would be needed, what the king would need from the hero going forward. And so, yes, that was important. We had the interaction with the king, and I think it was maybe right after the king that we then met. I think maybe that's when we met with Ingvold. I can't remember. I feel like it was when you were just getting off the boat that Ingvold came to meet you, and then maybe you went to... she
was like, no, I need to go see the king.
And then go to see the king. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So yes, and then set off down this coastal journey. Now, whereas in our first session, the Hermit Sanctuary, our first adventure, that involved an overseas travel. This has involved a coastal travel, basically hugging the coastline to get down to where Herrogate was. This has not been a journey free of peril. Getting through the rocks and shoals was not an easy thing, getting out of the mouth of the river to enter the more open sea. Wait,
that was super easy. Didn't I get like a natural 20 on like the roll to get like out of there?
Listen, I'm trying to build up the tension, all right? The very, very complicated... No, it's true. Yeah, that's true. You actually kicked ass on that check. I did. And the other part of the portent, which was fulfilled on the journey, was the meeting of these massive sea creatures on the other side of the boat. And in fact, it was towards the end of our last session where the crew looked out at the side of the boat where these creatures were just surfacing. Guy, follower who is right here, who usually is very taciturn and says very little, was particularly moved by this effect. And we talked about the impact that might have on Guy going forward. And so that indicates that somewhere the universe, the fates, the gods, something is looking down on this endeavor in some way or another. Just as a bit of housekeeping, right now the follower pool is as follows. The followers have no inspiration. There is 0 inspiration for the followers. I, the GM, have 1 inspiration available to me, and Genevieve has 3 inspiration that is available. And of course, you all know that you have your own benefit of having, those of you who have supported the channel and or the Patreon. You know that you will also have inspirations that you can use to support Tari if you wish. So that's going to be awesome. And I'm sure that you will be well engaged when they're about to fight 65 monsters at once. I'm sure it's going to be just fine. So with all of that, we are going to
65 troll-sized, 65 chicken-sized trolls, or one troll-sized
one
chicken?
troll-sized chicken, one troll-sized chicken that is immune to all weapons. That'll be great.
Oh, it's a cuckoo.
Its attack does like 35 sonic damage and.
No, from Legend of Zelda, the cuckoos. If you you can't kill them, but if you hit them, then they swarm you.
That's true. But it's the same. You remember, like in A Link to the Past? Yeah, this happens. Anyway, so this is where we are. So we pick things up as shortly, basically the next day after this encounter with the sea creatures that I previously mentioned. And as the ship pulls its way around, the next day, and we're going to move you. I don't want to control your token, but I'm going to move you here just so you can see. I hope you're moved by this.
Very much so.
As you pass through a narrow strait between 2 craggy islets, Genevieve arrives with her crew in the sheltered bay of the fishing settlement known as Herrogate. In the distance, there are snow-covered mountaintops that jut out of thick fog drifting down to the longhouses in the valley by the shore. There are fishing boats tied to the dock, which are swaying back and forth in the gentle waves that lap the stony beach. It is daytime, and yet even though it is daytime, the settlement is quiet and still, so that our longboat knifing through the water, the otter, seems like the only sound in the world. And the crew brings the ship alongside the dock, and I have a map for all of you. I'm sure you'll be excited to hear. And the map looks like this. Please ignore the numbers. That matters not. But here we are. Could this be a
point of interest?
Perhaps.
Could this be a point of interest?
This right here may be the most important one of all. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So do you want to move your token onto the, you able to move your token on the map for this one?
If my mouse cooperates. My computer has just been not cooperative lately.
It's Logitech wanting to make you do everything, like all this stuff.
Yeah, the problem is just that because my hand and arm are fucked up, right? I need like an ergonomic mouse.
Yeah.
Like this.
Yeah.
And I need one that's big enough. And like this was like the only brand I could find that has like nice large ergonomic mouses.
Yep.
Mice.
Yep.
Moose.
Mice. Mices. Okay. So let me see. I'm gonna see if I can. Let me move that over a little bit, chat, so you're not. It looks a little bit weird. So give me a second. Center area map. Bear with me. We're gonna move. Yeah, there we go. This wonderful overlay.
There's a bear with you.
This yes, you see a bear. There's an wonderful. This wonderful overlay is done by some well-experienced artist. I don't know. It's a person I've done some work with before. You know, they're pretty decent. Yeah, so if you like it, you should go see. I was going to make a bad joke about generative AI. You should not do that ever. What you should do is you should go to TariToons. And seriously, now I'm not going to throw a bunch of commissions
Please
at Tari.
Don't come to my house.
No, I was going to say don't do that. I don't want to make you do commissions, but seriously, if anyone is ever like, I wish I really had a person who could do awesome cartoon art because I need X, Y, and Z, can I recommend that you get in touch with my good friend TariToons, who is a wonderful artist, seriously, and very I don't think I told you this, Tari, but your art reminds me a bit of Mike Schley, my favorite map maker's map making, because there's a character to it. Like a lot of maps are very I don't know, cut and dry. Like they feel like AI created, they're just very grid oriented and boring and all that. And what I love about his maps is that they feel alive. They have this real life to them. So I wanted to pay that compliment because I feel like your art feels alive to me. So if you want that too, chat, you should come to August 17th and then demand that.
But that's not my skill. That's just because my drawings are all haunted.
Okay.
Every drawing contains a ghost, actually.
Listen, I mean, that's fine. If you can summon ghosts, that's a cool ability. Jesus. All right. Anyway, so the crew brings the ship alongside the dock and secures it in place. But there is a sense of unease, Genevieve, that falls over you and the rest of them, because the settlement appears deserted. Some of the buildings you can see that are closest to the shore have actually fallen into disrepair. And there is a breeze, a cold breeze, whistling around the structures and through the muddy streets. You can actually feel, goose pimples right on your flesh. You can feel the hair standing up on your arms a little bit as the air passes over them. So there's no one here to greet you. No one walks up to you here yet. So what are you going to do with your crew? Are you leaving them behind with the ship? Are you leaving a follower with the ship? You know the drill on that. Like, how do you want to do this?
So we are in Herrogate now,
You are
right?
now in Herrogate, yes. At least
and we have
this
made
part of
landfall,
Herrogate.
right?
Yes.
Okay, so what time of day is it, first of all?
So you have arrived in the early afternoon, probably about 1 p.m., which is one reason why the fact this place is deserted is weird. Like, there's literally no one that you can see on the streets.
And what's the weather like?
Cold, windy, little bit of maybe spray, a little bit of water in the air, clammy, I think, humid for sure. I know it's your favorite.
Average North Sea weather.
Pretty much.
North Sea.
North Sea.
Like the issue with if there's a TH and an S sound right next to each other, then I always mix them up for some reason. Like I never. So it's North Sea. If I
North Sea?
Don't pay attention. North Sea.
When I learned to say the word caterpillar, I first, for whatever reason, thought of it when I was a little kid as calipitter. Like I just put L's instead of T's and all that. Yeah. So
cute.
Anyway. Okay, see you, Hillness. Time to get back to pretending to work. Enjoy pretending to work.
Okay. Are there any other boats?
There are one or two boats that are tied up along the docks. But as you look at them... Actually, make a perception check for me, please, Genevieve. First roll of the day.
They see me rolling. Say, hey, Tim.
Hoping that they can get a natural 20. They get a natural 20. No, they got a 7-7. Okay. Yeah. The
7-7.
The only thing you note is that there are two other boats. One that is, I'll point it out on the map. One that is here, and then one which is down here. Your boat is tied up along here. Again, small boats, but I should note that's all. I mean, this is, again, this village thrives on fishing and trade. You see two boats, and that's it, besides your own.
So I don't remember the details of the briefing that we got from what's his name?
From Ingvar? Sorry, Ingvold.
Ingvold, yeah. But I do remember that I deduced that it must be about revenants, Draugr. Also because of the cover picture.
Yeah, that was really...
Yeah, that's a Draugr.
Because
and
also,
what those look like.
Even if you didn't know what and I know you know that separately, but also anyone who's ever played Skyrim could take a guess as well. Maybe.
Yeah, or Valheim.
And right, that's true actually. There is a rumor, or frankly, like Barrow Whites, the same kind of deal with Lord of the Rings. There is a sense that something has gone wrong with this. This village used to be very busy because it sits in a prominent spot, and it's not only fishing, but a lot of boats sort of put in here before they head north up to where the king is or south along the coast. And the fact that there has been no boats coming out of here for well over a week, maybe 10 days now, and the boat that was originally supposed to come back with Ingvold's stuff has been lost. The boat, in fact, came back. I think the boat did actually come back, but there was nobody basically on it. The ship was largely wrecked. All of the goods were gone. And Ingvold's son, Ingvar, was also gone. And so it's a mess. Something has happened here, and there are rumors of the restless dead. So that was what you basically heard.
Okay, so Genevieve goes to instruct the crew.
Okay.
to like make proper landfall with the ship, but like be ready to leave on a moment's notice should things go south, and also that we will go scouting ahead, and if anything should go wrong, or for whatever reason we are not back by nightfall, that they are supposed to leave and make camp somewhere up north on the coast, where we then would rendezvous again, like have them wait there for a week. If we don't show up, then just assume that we're dead and leave.
Okay. So you tell the captain that, who barks out orders to the crew. Before you leave the boat, though, one question first. Are you leaving a follower with you to help with this? Because remember, the follower...
No, like the followers are all coming with me.
All the followers, okay.
Like,
all right.
Yeah.
Okay. So Fenoifa, who you may remember, for those chat does not remember, Fenoifa is the daughter of the lost crewman, the person who lost their lives in the last adventure. And Fenoifa, the 16-year-old daughter, joined with the rest of you as part of the crew. Fenoifa says, as you're about to leave, excuse me, I have heard some of them have talked about the restless dead. This place. She kind of looks around. You can see the wind is kind of whipping her water sprayed hair that kind of hangs loosely about her shoulders as she looks, and you can see her eyes are kind of wide. And she says, "Do you think it's true that the dead walk the streets?"
I don't know. But that's what we are here to find out, right?
But you can't stop the dead. That's what they all say. The others on the boat.
I'm sure we will find a way. It will be fine.
She sort of nods uncertainly, and then she says, "All right, please be careful." And Rickmod shuffles by you, a slow, low chuckle in her throat. Meanwhile, the others, Guy, without sort of a sound, walks past you, as do Abanibundir and Yasib. But as the two of them pass by, Guy turns back, and he walks over to Fenoifa, and he kneels down, and he puts a hand on her shoulder, and he looks into her eyes, and then he just nods once, and then he picks his hand up, turns, and leaves. That is, by the way, about as much as Guy has ever done to interact with anybody. And Fenoifa is kind of like, but she sort of looks thoughtfully as he passes by you and onto the land. Okay. As you enter the land, as I try to find the follower's picture. Okay, there we go. As you enter the land, as you move through the settlement, a couple things to note. The longhouses, first of all, are made of this kind of sort of wattle with these thatched roofs and timber frames. But the homes along the waterfront, you can see without even having to do a check, are damaged. There are a lot of collapsed roofs, especially those ones to the south, right here and here and here. These ones are all damaged, and there are actually collapsed roofs on those three, and they look burned and charred as if there was a recent fire. You could go look at those more if you want, but that's like what you see from a distance. I should ask you that first, actually, because that's at the shoreline. Do you want to go look at those first, or you just want to keep heading into the town?
With the burned houses, is there like any smoke or anything?
No.
Or does it seem to
No,
be
this seems
older?
like it was a while ago. Well, you don't know how long, but it definitely wasn't like today or last night.
Right. No, I guess we would be going straight for the Great Hall.
Okay. As you head towards what looks like that, the sort of center of the hall, you can see that there are, you sort of get this weird, creepy feeling on the back of your neck like you're being watched. And as you look kind of around, you can see terrified, suspicious eyes kind of tracking you from the windows of a house and then disappearing, when they see you. You can see a couple of armored guards posted at the front of that long building that you're heading towards that does not actually have a number 1 in real life. That you can see at.
Well, not that we could see. We can't see on
it's
the
on the roof.
roof.
See, exactly. You wouldn't know, right?
Yeah.
And there is also one person, the first person that you've seen actually, who walks close, like is walking towards you. They have a spear and armor. Clearly, he's like some town guard. And then they just walk past you. Like they don't, they clearly see that you're there, but they just sort of turn away and then kind of hurry past you as you go along. And they look, that warrior looked haggard and, unsure, basically. As you get close to the long house, the 2 warriors that are standing by the door step forward, and then the door to the longhouse opens. And out steps a man with a long braided beard. And I have a token for this person, which I'm going to show you. All right. Yep. Okay. It was here. Nope, it's not it. Hold on, I'll find it. There's like, I got 1 million tokens originally. Okay, so.
I believe in you. You can do it.
I'm glad someone does. Okay. All right.
Will he succeed his investigation check?
The thing is, I had this and then I had to close things. Damn it, where is it? Show me the... Okay, well, I found one of the things that I was going to need for later that I... okay.
And then when you're going to need it later, then you're not going to be able to.
Yeah, exactly. I thought, the thing is, I had pulled a bunch of these already, and I clearly forgot this one. Okay, I'm just going to do that search thing.
For gore.
Okay, so... Right. Ah, there we go. Ha-ha! Success. Okay. So... Here we go. So, you see this, just a moment. Okay. So this man here, who's not that big, there we go.
Oh.
He steps out. You should be able to see this on Roll20 now.
Yeah.
So this man with a braided beard, he looks like a middle-aged, large man, barrel-chested, with this long blonde hair, and then he has a beard shot through with gray. He has a rich fur cloak that hangs about his broad shoulders. He has boots crafted of fine leather, and he has this engraved sort of this hilt sitting in a sheath in the center of his belt to a weapon. And the hilt, you notice, is so polished, you're not even sure if it's ever seen a day of use. Like, it looks like, museum quality, like never been, used in combat.
Wait. Museum quality Dark Ages sword? So rusty and bent and barely
No, only if it's 2024. Back then, museum quality would be different. Hey, Sparky. Oh, yeah, this is a duet system, the Beowulf system is. And that's cool that you're running one for your brother. That's awesome. Yeah, this is the Beowulf system that Tari and I play once or twice a month. Okay. So he steps out. So clearly, I mean, you would have to assume that this is the Eorl or the leader of this place. But you can tell that his demeanor is not as confident as you would have expected. Like, when you were speaking to the king, for example, the king was confident. He's a king. He understands, like, what his position is, what he has to do with his people. Yes, it's a burden to lead and all that. Heavy hands, the head that holds the crown and all that. But the point is, he still had a confidence about him. That's not the feel that you get from this person. He holds up a hand and he calls out to you and he says, "Hold! Who are you? And why have you come to my settlement?"
Yeah, Genofifa stops and takes off her helmet and says, "Greetings. My name is Genevieve. My friends and I, we have come all the long way from Xanten, because we have heard that your city has fallen on some ill times. We're hoping to lend a helping hand in the matter."
Then you have come for no reason. We have plenty of warriors. I am grateful that you've made this trip, but my warriors are more than capable of defending my community. The time that you spent on your journey, I hope that it will bring you back again just as swiftly. Now, Genevieve, again, you don't need any checks to look around and see what you see. No one is on the streets except for an occasional warrior or two who pays no attention to you. There are broken down, this is not at all jiving with what you're actually seeing in reality. But he very much is be on your way.
She just looks around. Are you sure you got this under control?
Absolutely.
I've seen a few completely destroyed buildings on the way here. And considering that the stories have traveled as far as they did to reach my ears, it seems, not to be rude or anything, but you know how it is.
Stories are stories. They are not to be trifled with or paid attention to. Our community has had a few setbacks, but nothing that we will not be able to address. And with outsiders coming to help, well, all that will do is bring trouble. The last thing we need is more heroes involved. I am sorry that you may have wasted your time. Now, at this point, you can see, Genevieve, that a few people, this is very much like, if you drop something in the kitchen and the cat runs away, after a minute, the cat slowly starts looking around the corner, right? That you start to see a few people now from elsewhere, commoners, obviously, starting to gather behind you. All of them staring at you silently like you are this incredible novelty. And they all look an absolute mess. Bags under their eyes. Most of them look as if they haven't slept in weeks. Their clothes are in tatters. They're dirty. This is a ragtag group of villagers. And the leader, the man that you're talking to, says, "There's no need for any of you to be gawking. Be on your way." And nobody does anything. They just keep looking, and more of them start to gather as looking at you.
So, are the stories about the Restless Dead also untrue, or?
Well, Restless Dead. No. Rumors and stories. Legends. We've had a few difficult moments, but none that we can't handle, and none that are to be learned from old wives' tales. No doubt an envious rival may have spread those rumors to others. And make a perception check for me, please, Genevieve.
Mm-hmm. Sense motive check.
Yeah, I know, right?
16.
Yeah, you start, because what you hear behind you is muttering, angry muttering from the villagers. You hear a few don't tell lies. You can definitely hear muttering from behind you. And the man sort of stands up a little taller and he says, "I've made my position clear. My name is Thorfinn, and this is the village that I have been sworn to protect. I have done so to the best of my ability and will continue to do so. My warriors will manage the rest." Now, at this point, there's probably a group of about maybe 20, 25 people behind you, and one sort of young voice pipes up from behind the crowd. "You can't do anything against them." And you hear a couple, yeah. And you feel a tug on your shirt, Genevieve, like on your tunic.
Yeah, she looks and sees what is tugging on her clothes.
It is a young girl. Reminds you a little bit of Fenoifa, but much younger. And she looks up at you, and again, haggard, eyes just wide as if they are not wide enough to take in the devastation that she's seen or whatever it is that she's seen over the last couple of weeks. And she says, "Are you a hero?"
I try to be.
"Will you help us?" And Thorfinn says, "Silence, child." And again, angry muttering.
Yeah, Gidofifa just ignores Thorfinn, turns fully to the little girl, to the little kid, and kneels down in front of them. It's like, well, I sure hope I can.
And she sort of looks up and she says, "I believe you. We need this person. This is a hero." And a few others like, "Yeah, a hero. Can't do worse than you, Thorfinn." And now Thorfinn looks sort of angrily around and starts to speak. But at that point, the crowd says, "They should stay. Just stay. Let them stay. Yeah, stay. And you can see the warriors, the guards, like next to Thorfinn, kind of look at each other nervously. And Thorfinn finally holds up a hand and says, Fine. They're wasting their time, but let us come in and speak." And he kind of glances at the assembled crowd, and then he turns and walks into the longhouse. And the guards sort of wait for you to follow.
Yeah.
If you want to do
follow.
that. Okay.
And she looks a bit sheepish. It's like, mixed feelings of like, oh, they believe in me, but also like, oh no, they believe in me.
Oh, well, good thing we have runes. Oh, wait. Yeah, it's me. Okay. So Thorfinn's Hall, which sits up a little bit on this hill in the center of the settlement, it is the largest, obviously you can see, of the longhouses in this fishing community. And when you walk inside it, you notice that it is a hall which, like the rest of the village, has seen better days. There are these old shields and weapons and fishing nets from ages past adorning the walls of this hall, Genevieve. And above the empty seat towards which the Eorl Thorfinn is going, you can see an empty space with a bracket. It is clearly a place, because you can see from the outline behind it, where an ancient sword must once have hung, but there is no sword there now. And as you walk in, you can see there is one table lit by cheerless, like kind of surrounding this cheerless fire pit. And at the back of that fire pit, which is sort of glowing, I guess it's ambitious to call it a fire pit. Like, I mean, it's got some glowing embers, but the inside of the hall
it's a pit that a fire is supposed to be lit.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the stated purpose, right? And it's cold inside here too. And the Eorl goes back behind the pit and sort of slumps down on the chair. There are a few people also within this hall. And the one that I want to mention a few of them that you notice. One of them is standing near the hall's entrance. Now that I have the tokens, I can get right to this. Standing near the hall's entrance is a strapping young man. I will show you a picture right now. Fortunately, I don't have an interior for the hall, but... Okay. He is a burly young man, and you can see as you're looking at him that he has knotted muscles on his arms, and you can also see that his hands are blackened with soot and perhaps coal. Almost certainly has to be some kind of a blacksmith. In fact, reminds you a bit of the blacksmith that you met on the last one, although he's not nearly as big as that guy was, but you can see that he's very stockily built, and he sort of watches you as you go. Now, he does not have a haunted expression, but he's very much got the sort of grim, watching the doomed hero walk by look type of thing, as you pass. So there is that. Next to the seat where the Eorl sits, there is an old wizened man. And he looks like this.
It's got him.
He is exactly, and he says, "My precious." No, he is standing by the Eorl's seat, He's dressed in plain sackcloth, and he is crouched over and leaning heavily upon a walking stick. And as you sort of follow, getting closer to the seat, you can see this man gazing at you. And despite his, his kind of wizened appearance, he has a piercing glare. I shouldn't glare, that's too aggressive. A piercing look, let's put it that way, as if of someone who can really, this is not someone who is clearly in cognitive decline, put it that way. This person is right there with you, and you are reminded very much of Rickmod in the way that Rickmod often looks, sort of staring out at you. So there's that man. And then there are one other that I want to mention, and that is that standing on the other side of the chair where the Earl sits is a tall, red-headed woman. And I'm going to show you that person right now. Her hair is fire red. And as you come in, she is holding a spear and is standing by the chair of the Earl. Now, her glance is also sort of, piercing, although not quite the same way as the old man's. But what you notice most of all, Genevieve, because you've seen a little bit of this with Runeseld and something else, the hand around which she's clutching the spear, right? And the spot underneath the hand you can see is weathered and slightly thinner than the rest of the spear. In other words, this thing has been used before. Remember I mentioned that Thorfinn's weapon looks like it hadn't been used? This thing sure as hell looks like it's been used. The spearhead is tarnished and stained, almost certainly with blood. And she's tall. And as you come in, she sort of like stares at you with her hand gripping the spear as you and your 4 followers come to a stop in front of Thorfinn, who, as I say, has slumped down on the chair. And Thorfinn looks over at you and he says, "Very well. You can state your business and then be gone. I wish for no enmity with my people, but I also don't want you giving them false hope. We'll solve this problem one way or the other."
Well, then why don't you tell me what the problem exactly is from your point of view? Since apparently I have some false information on the matter.
And he says, "That is true. It is a very simple matter. There was an accident about a week and a half past that caused several of the buildings at the shore to burn. It was, at the time, not close enough for us to put it out. It caught quickly during a lightning storm, and we were unable to put it out before it had burned down the roofs of some of the houses. They will be rebuilt. In the meantime, my people have given way to listening to rumor. Several people have disappeared, and there were merchant ships that passed that contributed to it. I believe it likely that there may be bandits involved, and we will track them down. However, there is no reason to believe that it is anything beyond the simple and ordinary, and I have learned over long years that when we tell stories to give ourselves a sense of comfort or fear, we do little but to deceive ourselves and make things more difficult. And, Hilda, she will introduce herself to you in a minute, but the tall, spear-wielding, fire-haired woman is silent, just her hand gripping the spear, and the old man on his stick on the other side kind of rocks back and forth a bit.
You mentioned merchants. Actually, we have been told this by one of those merchants who came through here, or rather, their son came through here, and their ship went missing together with the son. Do you happen to know somebody by the name of Ingvar?
Insight check, please.
No, of course. Like, is this guy gonna be lying out of his ass, or isn't he? Ooh, 18. Very nice.
When you say the name Ingvar, the thing that you notice is that the old man, almost imperceptibly, but not imperceptibly enough for an 18, glances over at Thorfinn, the Eorl. And Thorfinn sort of like glances in his direction and then says, I have heard of this person, yes. They came in a merchant vessel. Probably not that long, actually, before the houses had the accident of which I referred. But after that, they disappeared. I don't know what happened. The ship left. You can see for yourself there's no other boat here except 2 fishing ones. It was a longboat like the one you came in. And they departed without telling us where they were going. If he disappeared, I don't know where or what might have happened. Is that why you came to seek for this person?
You said that you don't know what might have happened to them, but earlier you said you're pretty sure it's been bandits.
No, I don't think these things are related. Bandits are responsible for perhaps what happened with the some of my people who live towards the outskirts of the village, and a couple of other of these merchant wagons. But as far as I know, this boat, the one that had your Ingvar, pushed off from shore and should have been back wherever they were going some days ago. The sea and the coast are treacherous, and there are bandits along it, now that I think of it. But I was simply saying that the bandits may have been involved in some of the overland caravans that have not arrived here when they should, or have not arrived at their destination when they left. That is what we are working on, to track down these things and make sure that we can stop any more depredations of commerce.
Yeah, this guy is full of shit. 1 second. I have to check all the feats and stuff my character has since a new character, so I don't know all of these.
As you're looking, by the way, you hear some movement from the front of the hall, and entering through the hall, you see another person who I am also putting up on Roll20 now. So this person here, this is a short woman. She has calloused hands and muscled arms, and she has slung around her shoulder a net, and in the net are several fish. And she comes in, speaks to the guy who probably is the blacksmith, that I mentioned before, briefly, and glances up in your direction, and then comes over to the fire pit and starts undoing the net.
Well, be that as it may, but I did promise to go for looking for Ingvar, so if you don't mind, I would like to ask around the village if anybody else might have seen anything.
And Thorfinn sort of... and he reaches for... You can now see that on the arm of his chair is there's a goblet, and he picks it up and downs it, and then slams it down on the arm of the chair, and he says, "I'll need more." And there's a moment's pause, and then the red-haired woman sort of nods and walks over to a table at the side of the hall and takes a pitcher and brings it back over and pours some more, whatever it is, in the goblet. And Thorfinn says,
"Great king or Earl or whatever can't even doesn't even have a cupbearer."
Exactly. You can see, by the way, these very dark circles under his eyes. It looks like he has also not slept in quite a while, Genevieve. And again, he's sort of slumping in his chair as he waits for the ale to be poured, or the mead, I guess, to be poured. And he sort of waits, and at first you wonder if he even heard you, and then he kind of says, "It's a waste of time, but if you want, you can go around and speak to the ones who will speak to you. Right now, my people are choosing caution. I don't know how many of them you're going to find. I don't want you provoking them, and I don't want you bothering them. But if they want to speak to you on their own," and he kind of waves like, whatever, and then turns away and begins to drink again.
Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. And she takes a deep bow. And leaves.
Okay. Now, are you talking to anybody in the hall as you leave?
No.
Or not? Okay. All right.
I have a feeling it's probably smarter to talk to these guys while Thorfinn isn't around.
Okay. Fair enough. So you walk out of the hall, and again, obviously the red-haired woman watches you as you go. The man at the door, the blacksmith guy, stares at you also. The woman, the fisherwoman, the one who had the net that was taking the fish out of the net. And you can see, by the way, there are a few fish, but like 3 fish, and they're a little bit like on the small side. I mean, that's not a big haul. And
bunch of herrings.
Yeah, more or less. You got some sardines. And as you walk past, you can see that her eyes follow you, and she's gazing like right at you as you go by. Her mouth slightly open, like she wants to say something but doesn't. Yes, and of course the wizened old man, his gaze. You feel like there's a lot. I hope I've conveyed properly. A lot of people are staring at you. I hope I've conveyed that.
Ginofifa does not like this.
Yes, I was gonna say
not used to being the center of attention.
Exactly. So when you get out of the longhouse, again, besides the 2 guards standing by the front door, you don't see anyone out there, almost, but you do hear the sound of like someone hammering and sawing at wood.
Oh, I see.
And it's coming from the southern dock down here. Other than that, you don't hear or see anything else.
Yeah, actually, I meant to go to the docks anyway. So, let's go there.
Okay. When you get down there, you can hear the noise, where the noise is coming from. And there's actually drag marks on the sand leading all the way to... let me make sure that I don't put this in the wrong place. One second. Leading to... Wait, I'll find it.
Emily says, your sawmill read a little dentist, to be honest.
Oh, did I? Okay. I wanted to make... Yes, okay, good. So there are actually drag marks not coming from here. That was the thing I was trying to find. But actually, something has been dragged from the sand, or through the sand, from here. And you can see that it is obviously this keel of a boat. You can see that because the boat is actually there right at the edge of the water. And it is leaning on its side. And you can see, as you look at this place, you can see there is a lanky young man dressed in a blue cloak that is hammering away at the underside of the boat. And I will show you the picture of this person right here. Oops, sorry. No, I'm not going to draw on him. That's not what I meant to do.
Too late.
Too late. What? Select. Select this thing.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Okay.
Denied.
There we go. So, yes, he is hammering away at the boat. He looks fairly reasonably handsome young fellow. And you can see there are several tools in the sand by him as he kneels by the boat. And you can also, as you get closer, you can hear that he's humming something under his breath. And then
me?
Excuse me. I'm sorry. I didn't hear you. And he stands up slightly unsteadily, and you can now see that to his left there are a couple of empty, maybe water skins on the ground next to him.
Uh-huh.
And he stands up.
Greetings. Fefa is my name. At your service.
Ah.
Do you have a moment?
Oh, sure. I'm just working on this boat. It'll keep. We have a couple of others anyway. My name is Scard. I'm the shipbuilder here. It's good to see you. I saw your boat come in, but I was too busy getting mine to pull out here on the shore. We need to get some more boats out there. If can't get fish from too much from here, at least not as many as we need.
I saw one of the villagers earlier carry a haul, and it was not particularly impressive.
Right. You probably saw Ursa, I imagine. Yes, she was coming in from whatever her haul is. The problem is that none of those boats are capable of doing it. When we lost a few of them, the ones that were left aren't very seaworthy. And it's all on me to build the left of them. I can't build a fleet in a day or a week. Trust me, they'd need it. Most of the people here know how to sail boats, but build them? Not likely. Fortunately, I can. And he kind of he goes to sort of hit the hull and slightly overdoes it and hits it too strongly, and then he's like, Anyway, good construction right here. And I will say this, Genevieve, leaving aside the way he's acting, it does actually look like a very solid boat. Well constructed, well put together.
Well, this is some fine workmanship here, as
Thank
far as
you.
I can tell anyway.
I try. You need some work up there. It looks like yours has been through a few battles, I can see. I might be able to shore it up a little bit if you have time, and if there's a little bit of something to liberate the tongue and the palate, if you understand what I mean.
Fefa just tilts her head. I don't understand.
Well, and he kind of looks mournfully down at the empty water skin on the beach, and he says, if you're going to do the work I do without giving in to despair like the rest of the people here, you better have a bit of, liquid courage available to you. And as you can see, I'm fresh out. Also, I'm in between payments. I'm the only shipwright they have in this village. But do they give me what I need, the thing that's necessary to keep me moving? Well, not really. Water, they say. What good does water do? Water will help keep you hydrated, but it certainly won't keep you, safe when things come knocking. And he kind of smiles, and you can see he's slightly cross-eyed. He's not falling over drunk, but
I see. Mayhaps later? I was more wondering, since you seem to be working out here by the shore quite a bit, if you had heard anything about a merchant named Ingvar?
Ingvar
Came through here?
Ingvar. Oh, yes, I think so. I actually shared a stoop of wine with, it wasn't Ingvar. It was, no, maybe it was. Yes, I think so. He said he was heading north. None of the others, they were already afraid. None of the others would drink with him, but I said, we live now, for tomorrow we die. We might as well enjoy ourselves while here. So we had a very pleasant time swapping stories with each other, just here on the beach. And look, did anything come and attack us? No. People who huddle in their beds, they're the ones who are going to eventually be taken. But those of us who are out celebrating the darkness with a bit of liquid courage, we can manage. Yes, I think I remember this Ingvar. We had a lot of questions about the journey back. I told him what I could, but Truthfully, none of us have been far outside, at least not since Arn left, and that means we've been mostly not trapped exactly, but not willing to venture far afield.
Wait, people being taken by what?
Well, we don't know exactly, and some people don't think that anyone's being taken. It's a long tale, though, and he looks kind of down at the empty water skin again. If I were to tell that story, I would need, and he picks one up and a couple of drops fall out. I'd need something to, give me the necessary energy.
Right. I think I'm catching your meaning. Okay, 1 second. So Genoveva is actually a brewer.
I seem to remember
she would know how to make ale and stuff. So I would assume that it is not too far-fetched to say that they probably have a keg or two of ale on the boat.
I would think almost certainly.
Yeah, so she goes to send Guy to fetch one of those. It's like small kegs.
Okay.
What is it? 5 liters.
Okay. And so sends a few. While we're on that subject, by the way, can you tell me about the gifts for your 4 followers? Just remind me what the gifts are that each of them has.
Yes. So Yassib Ibn Galib has engage.
Yep.
Take a blow.
Yep.
Bare-blooded.
Yep.
And rescue the hero.
Okay. Yep.
Rigmod has engage, rescue the hero, Raven Mind, and Seer.
Okay.
And also the burden slow.
Right.
Then Aban Ibn Mundir al-Falaki has engage, rescue the hero, and lore of kings.
Okay.
And last but not least, Yi has the gifts engage, take a blow, and nimble.
And has the burden of awkward, but that's temporary,
awkward.
Right? Right.
No, that's
actually, yeah, that's right. You were
regular.
supposed to look into that. If you wanted, remember when you were leveling up the followers, you were going to look into whether you wanted to make his burden of awkward temporary, which means that it would, at the end of this adventure, would no longer be a burden for him.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. It's okay. We can talk about it afterwards, but just, as a reminder that we have your follower level up to do for them. Okay, so when they come back, so none of them have the learned or old ways gift, right? Some of them may like worship the old ways, but none of them have the learned gift, I don't believe.
No.
Okay. So when they come back carrying the keg, Skarda's eyes light up and he says, now we're talking. Some people that actually bring something outside this town so that we can all work together to feel better about ourselves instead of being depressed.
So mind you, this is some very mild ale. Like,
it's all right. It's better than water, right? And he clunks down and he pulls from his belt the classic battered mug, which hangs by his belt type of thing.
The battered mug.
Exactly. On the bottom of it, you can see there's
That's
actually
a throwback.
There's a bolo. So he pulls out the mug and then fill the alcohol. So I would like you to make, please, an insight check for me. But you're going to be able to do this at advantage because you're doing it with the dubious benefits of alcohol.
Well, the benefits are for me. This guy is going to be having the hangover.
He's got the dubious part, right? Exactly.
What was it? Insight, right?
That it was insight, yes. And Craigery, the battered mug was actually a tavern from our first. Was a tavern from our Shire Adventures game. So was the battered mug. Okay.
Oh, not Godverdamme, Godmilja, because we are in technically Belgium right now in our adventure. So I need to use Belgian curse words.
Okay. So, as you're able to sort of like, as you start talking with him, he starts telling you he sort of like looks at you and kind of his eyes cross a bit. You try to kind of regale him with a couple of stories of your own, but he kind of doesn't seem to be that super fascinated about it. But after a while, he says, he, kind of like is sort of settling back and feeling better. And he leans back against the side of his boat with his mug that you filled up for the third time from your thing. And he says, well, it doesn't seem to me like you really understand a lot of what it's like to live in this village, but you've given me some things to think about. You're not a bad sort, really. And you remind me of someone that I trained with when I was learning to build ships. So I'm going to tell you a story because I like them. Yeah, I like them. So he kind of like pauses, then comes up again. 4 years ago, there was this messenger. And he came into Herrogate, and he was looking for Arn's aid. A lot of people did that when Arn was here. And they wanted him to get rid of these raiders from the Silent Sanctuary. That's a monastery, and he kind of waves vaguely at the coast. It's down the coast a little bit. It's on a cliff overlooking the sea. And the monks are peaceful. They're pretty boring. They don't drink, if you can believe it. I mean, alcohol, it's a filthy habit, but he drains a little more from his mug. He says, only those who wanted to, they just studied, basically. But there were some people that wanted to join them and talked about peace. I think the better peace is being on the sea with a good boat and a good keg. Who's with me? He kind of looks around at the surrounding assembled followers.
Oh, actually, she would also have a cup.
Okay.
While she listens.
Okay.
Like her followers can also have one if they want.
Yeah, okay. So so he kind of like, nods and he says, so they grew their own food, they brewed their ale. Like I said, they were boring, but whatever. They didn't need anything from the outside. But when Arn heard they were in trouble, well, he decided he was going to help them from these raiders. And he challenged them to combat. Single combat with a sword. And he kind of like lifts forward and reaches for something at his belt and then misses entirely and bangs his hand painfully into the boat. That was what it was like. It was painful. And he challenged the raider to single combat. Okay, leader of the raider, single combat. One-on-one. That's what that means. One person against one. It's like a duet when you have two people, you know what I mean? So there's like that. And then if he bested them, if he beat the leader of the raiders, then the raiders would leave. And if he lost, then the raiders would take the monastery. And I wouldn't care because they didn't drink anyway, but whatever. That's what they did. Well, Arn emerged victorious. And the raiders slank back to their ships. And they slunk, slinkety. The ship, they got on the ship, and then they left, and they promised they wouldn't return. So like, you could go there if you want to see it and see what it's like. That was something when Arn saved them. I'm not surprised, but yeah. Anyway.
When was this raid supposed to happen?
Oh, this was a while ago. 4 years. 4 years ago. It was a long time. It was before any of the other stuff that happened. That was before Arn left. Yeah.
So what does it have to do with Ingvar?
Ingvar? I was just telling you a story. Who's Ingvar? Oh, yeah, Ingvar, the guy. Yeah, I had, and then he tells you the story of how he had like ale with him one night. Like he's already told you this story. Ingvar. Well, he said he didn't look worried to me. He just got himself together and got a bunch of his people, and we had a good time, laughed it up, and I fell asleep. I like to go to bed early to bed, early to rise. Makes a man his head hurt, I think. Anyway, I fell asleep. And when I woke up,
well rested but socially dead is the rest of the saying.
Oh yeah, that's you're you do it this one wrong. You gotta watch out for this. Yeah, and he's like clearly thinks that what you said is hysterical. And then says,
well, it was a quote from Animaniacs, so yes, it is.
Yes, I love those things. Anyway, so he says. Yeah. So, but then he was gone. I mean, I'm sure he's fine. You know, there's weird things that happen around here, but I mean, he had a whole ship. He had a weapon, like, has a sword. A sword. It's like, I used to have a sword. Where's my sword? I don't know. Anyway, it's a blade, and like you use it to cut things. Like, oh yeah, and he points at Guy, and he says, you got weapons? And Guy just like stares at him, and he's like, yeah, well, like if it was that, but it had an edge on it, it would be a sword. Sword. That's a good sword. That's
right. So, and who's Arn?
Who's
When did
Arn?
he leave?
Who's Arn? Oh, I mean, listen, Arn is Arn. I mean, he's the Arn. Well, how do I put it? Well, okay, he was anyway. He was the son of Thorfinn. And he like spits on the sand. Thorfinn. That he was the son of Thorfinn. Like, you haven't heard of Arn of Herrogate? He was a hero. He's like you, except like people had heard of him. I mean, no offense. Like, I'm sure I'll hear of you. I hear lots of people, but everybody heard of Arn. He traveled up and down the coast, and he saved those monks. I ever tell you the story of when the raider came to the monks?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
anyway, he
did
did that and like a bunch of other stuff, and he was Thorfinn's son, and then and then he was so like not all that long ago, maybe 3 years ago. It was only a year after the thing with the raiders. They found his body. They brought him back to the village. It was sad. He was these traders that were walking with a wagon. They had found his body by the side of the road. Someone had crushed his skull with a club. These God's damned bandits. It's not the way to live your life. It's not the way to be dead. Having your skull crushed. Oh, it's terrible.
She goes to sit next to him and puts a hand on his back. It's like, they're there.
It was terrible. And you know what was just as bad? He was a good guy. But also, then Thorfinn just got really, really sad and miserable. And then the ale got hard to find. And that is the tragedy here. That there was tragedy, and then the extra tragedy of no way to feel better about the tragedy. That was,
You know what would make you feel better about the tragedy?
You're right. I'll take some more. I appreciate that.
No. I think look at the beautiful sky up there. Like, look at the shapes of the clouds. And like she basically nudges him to lay down.
It's cloudy
on the
though.
dock.
You can't.
Yeah, that's why the clouds have shapes.
Oh.
And then she goes to describe like the different shapes in the clouds and hopes to get him to fall asleep.
Yeah, that looks like a mug of mead, and that looks like it is like a keg. That's a ship, right? A ship. Ooh, ship. There's a ship in the place. Ah, the ship in the place.
Right. Okay. Since he seems to be like, snoring.
Yeah.
Fifa would like get up. Like
kick him in the
pick
side
up
and
this
run.
guy's like tools and stuff, and like just puts them like under a cover. Like he probably has like a bag for those, right?
Yes.
So that they don't catch rust.
As you do that, he stirs, like, and he kind of puts his hand over the bag, and then he like pulls it to him like he's cuddling with his tools. And he
Okay,
just...
outstanding. Yeah, she like drags his cloak over him as a blanket, tucks him in. And then picks up the keg of the keg that she brought, because that one's probably not empty yet, and just, leaves with the other followers.
As you're walking away, you see the fisherwoman walking down the path, sort of in your general direction. Her net is empty, and this is the woman that, if what Skarda said is true, her name is Ursa. If he's right that this is who you were looking at, and she's sort of walking in your direction, not exactly, but kind of.
And she hands the keg off to Guy. Here, Guy, could you please take this back and be so kind? Thank you.
He kind of like nods and then staggers under the weight of the half keg back to the boat.
And then she trots towards Ursa. It's like, hello, greetings.
Hello.
You're Ursa, right?
Yes. Why?
I don't know why Ursa is your name. You would have to ask your parents that. I'm sorry.
What are you, trending? No, I'm just kidding. She says, no, she doesn't do that. She says, she's like, what do you, she says, why do you want to know is what I mean. My name's Ursa, yes.
Outstanding. Hi, I'm Fifa. We met briefly in the hall. I was just wondering if you had a moment.
Only a moment, maybe. What do you need?
I was just wondering if you could tell me what's been happening around here, and if you had heard of a man named Ingvar and what has happened to him.
Ingvar. I think he was that one on the merchant ship about a week ago, maybe 10 days. Well, I don't know much about him. He was spending time with Skarda, that sod. You might found him already. But as far as what's been happening around here...
Yeah, I've met Skard.
Oh, well, I hope you've left him awake.
No, I thought it would be better for him to have a nap. Sleep it off.
A loud rumbling echoes from the southern side of the village, which you suspect is his snoring echoing against the boat. And she kind of looks in that direction and then shakes her head and she says, I would have expected. And she says, well, I can give you whatever information I suppose you need, but I can't waste much time. And the truth is, she kind of looks at you. Look, let's just get straight to it, right? If you want to catch a fish, you go catch a fish, but you don't waste your time talking about it. If you're the hero that they said you were, are you going to try to fix this problem that we're having or not?
Well, I first need to figure out what exactly the problem is, to be honest. Also, I'm not a hero. I'm trying to be one, but...
Not a hero? Well, you're dressed like one. You got followers. You came in a boat.
Is this all it takes to be a hero? Is that really it? And she looks with a genuine question face at her followers, is that literally it?
And you can see that Yasib kind of gives a small smile. The others don't say anything, although Rickmod chuckles. And Ursa says, well, these days that's probably better than anyone else you're likely to get. And she kind of cackles a bit, and then she says, well, I don't know. There's been others who've come to ask of the story of this village, and sometimes all it does is get them killed. You're sure you want to know?
Yes.
Okay, I would like you to make an insight check for me, please, at advantage.
Oh, I needed that. A 17.
Okay. I saw the 3, and I'm like, okay. Okay. So she sort of looks at you, and she says, all right, I'll tell you. There's something has been happening to the people around here. They've been disappearing. Not all of them mind. One of them here or there. Thorfinn, he thinks it's all about bandits, but those of us who lived here a while know better. And Thorfinn hasn't been the same since his boy left anyway. We don't know what's happening, but, well. And she kind of pauses and then looks around, and she drops her voice and she says, all right, look. The truth has a way of finding its way to the surface, right? Like a fish to the net.
Mm-hmm.
So, I can only say this once. Just listen and take from it what you will. 8 years ago, Arn was traveling by sea to the settlement of Olmstad on the Isle of Home. It's up that way. And she points sort of like to the northwest. You vaguely remember that you might have seen kind of a rocky island out that way when you were first coming in towards this. And she says, there's a settlement, Olmstad, on the Isle of Olm there. There was a troll that plagued the settlement for months, eating through their sheep and goats and other livestock. Winter was approaching, and common folk feared they wouldn't make it through the lean months, and the troll was going to eat them too. So Arn, he was brave and clever, and he went to the caves above the settlement. He spied upon the troll 2 days and 2 nights. He made notes of where it was haunting, its habits, what things it ate, all that sort of thing. And once he figured out a plan, he rallied 2 of the settlement's strongest warriors, and he led them to victory in a great battle. Arn was the only one to survive it, but there was a young boy who was a budding scope. He saw the fight, and he sang the tale of Arn and the warriors' daring and bravery to anyone who would listen, which was, frankly, not us after he sang it for the 75th time, but you know. Even today, though, many a traveler you'll hear have been known to leave Homestead humming the scope's tune of that time the troll defeated, and the axe, Arn's axe, that cleaved in 2 when he hit the monster. Well, if you're interested, you might want to seek out the boy. There's the scope that watched it. Well, he's now a grown man, and he's got some interesting truths to tell. You'd have to go over to the Isle of Home first, though. He's known just as the Scope of Homestead. You'll know him because he's always got his lyre with him. And, maybe he can give you more information about the living and the dead.
Mm.
And then she kind of purses her lips and she says, right, I gotta get back out to fishing. I'll see you around here, I suppose. Let's be careful. There's strangers don't always do well in the land of the strange, they say. That's where we are.
Well, thank you very much, and here's to good catching.
And she nods and walks on with her net over her shoulder. So, what now?
Can we see the island from the shore?
You can get a decent sort of look at the outside of it, probably, yes. Let me see. In fact, I can bring you back to the map. Because if we go here, if you're right, here's you now.
Yeah.
That is the island that she's referring to. If you
okay.
judged by her sort of like direction.
I see.
And down this way, and I think it is. Let me just find the one.
Ah, yes, a silent sanctuary, a monastery on a cliff by the coast.
Which is here.
Could it be Candlekeep?
Bum, 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 bum. Mm-hmm. Dun 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 dun.
Right. Let me think. Can you take me back to
Yes. Paradise
the
City.
town?
Take me back to the Paradise City. Okay, to the town. All right, there we are.
So what is like my current estimate of like how long would it take to get to Olmsted?
So it looks, because you can even kind of vaguely make it out where you are. It's a fairly calm day. I mean, there's a breeze, but there's nothing like really extreme. Probably a couple hours by boat. So if you were to leave now, you'd probably get there by like mid-afternoon.
Okay. So we could be back before nightfall.
You would think.
I think I would prefer to stay in town for now.
Okay.
Right. I guess we'll just start walking around a bit, and see if we run into anybody who looks like they're worth asking something. Hopefully, one of the folks who were at the hall might be outside now, away from Thorfinn.
That seems reasonable. So when you set out, and let me just make sure. Right, there's that one. Ah, good. That's the one I was looking for. I was covering it up. Okay. So you can hear there is the sound of clink. Or actually, this one I should be able to do. Where's my thing? Where's my thing? Sound effects. All right.
Wait, I can do it. Oh, it's not hollow enough.
And then you hear a kind of... So like a ringing and then kind of a muffled ringing coming from a building, which is here. So you can hear a hammering sound. Not a wooden hammering sound as with Skarda, but a metallic hammering sound.
Stop, hammer time. Yeah, I guess we'll follow the noise.
And there's other places you could look too, but I'm just saying you were mentioning like that's another noise. But there's also, farther to north is where Skarda pulled the boat from, so there's the longhouse again, so up to you. I'm not trying to direct you.
No, we go to the smithy.
Okay.
Smithy.
So when you get closer to that spot and the hammering continues, you can see that the door is open. And standing over what is obviously a forge and hammering away at it, you can see a man with his back turned to you. But as you look at his back, you can see the sort of black spiky hair at the back. And almost certainly this is the... wait, what?
He's hammering at the forge?
Not the forge. Sorry, at an anvil near the forge.
Standing at the forge and hammering.
Hammering, right.
I see.
Yeah, he's not hammering at the forge. God damn it, no.
I was like, imagining him just like hammering
although it always
against the forge, basically.
It reminds me,
like,
though,
wait
of
a
one of my
second, though.
favorite clips ever when I was playing Skyrim, where I was talking to someone near the forge, and then the classic Skyrim AI, some dude walks over, stands over, and starts hammering away at an anvil in front of me, blocking me from the person that I'm talking to. And the best part is the guy was in-game blind. So I'm like, why is the blind guy suddenly walking over and working on the... I was like, what the hell are you doing? It was like very funny. Like, check out our awesome Radiant AI. I'm like, yeah. Anyway,
it just works.
It
Greg.
just works. I'm going to go buy that game 15 more times on every platform. Anyway, yes, but you can tell that this is almost certainly the blacksmith that you saw. And he is, hammering away with his back turned to the door.
Yeah. Fipa walks up. I was like, hello.
Okay, and he kind of like, he sort of stops and then he turns around. Again, you can see he has this curly black hair, this mustache, this sort of muscled frame. And he says, you're the ones who came to see Thorfinn, a little while ago. What can I do for you?
Yes, hello. My name is Kino Fifa, at your service. I was wondering if I can ask you a few questions.
My name is Bo, and yes, I'm the blacksmith. You can ask me what you want. I don't know what I'll have. Say again.
Not the bow maker?
No, that's someone different.
Is that Smith? Is that their name?
His name's...
What's it, Sword? What's their name?
His name is Arrow. No. No, he says... No, B-O, he says. Not the abbreviation B-O. That means something totally different. And he says, I don't know that there's much good that I can provide, but, well, you can, if you wish, talk to me.
Yes, I do wish. Thank you. I was just wondering if you might know anything about what has been happening around this town that such stories would leave it.
Huh. A bunch of doomed people telling each other doomed stories, that's what I'd say. A bunch of people who they're more interested in living their lives on their own and not helping others. There used to be some good people here, but they've grown frightened. Now they're as likely to knife you as look at you. And he kind of picks up the tongs and the red-hot tongs and dumps them in the water, and there's this bucket of water near where he was hammering away, and he says, I don't know that there's much I can say. There's a couple people who have disappeared, and, well, the Eorl thinks that it's bandits, and he kind of shrugs. Maybe. I don't know that that's all that it is, but maybe.
What would bandits want with people?
And he kind of pauses and looks at you. I would like an insight check, please.
16.
Yeah. When he looks at you after you ask the question, why would they take these people, you can see that he's kind of giving you a look as if to say, like, something I thought about. And he says, aye, that was my question too. I wondered quite a bit about whether or not there would, well, they'd kill them if they looted them, but there's no sign of their bodies. Maybe they kidnapped them to what? Sell them into slaves? Use them as slaves? Where? How? No. It seems more likely to me that they would have killed them and looted their bodies. No bodies, though. And that tells me that they're not dead, and that tells me it's not bandits. But he kind of shrugs. Who knows? People around here make their own decisions.
One moment. Any idea what it could have been? If it wasn't bandits?
He sighs and he says, well, I don't mean to speak ill of anyone, but the truth is there are some people here.
He goes to speak ill of somebody.
Exactly. It's the classic no offense, but, and then says something offensive. I don't mean to speak ill of anyone, but, well, if you think of things the right way, you can figure them out, I imagine. Let's be clear here. If it's not bandits and it's not raiders, then it's something else. And, well, 3 nights ago, I was coming home late. I had been out trying to find some new places that I might be able to mine some ore from. I heard this snoring, probably Skarda, that drunken buffoon. But I ignored it. Just a typical sound on a regular weeknight. But as I was walking through the town, I heard this sound. And I looked over. There was this creature. It was crouched over, looking like old. I thought For a minute it might be Frode. You saw him in there, that's the old man. Frode the Wise. But he was too tall to be Frode, and the face didn't look right. It was in the dark, but it was moonlit. When I got closer, I saw that it was standing next to something else that was tall. Well, when I came close, it saw me and then turned away. I didn't get a look at its face. I didn't know anything about it except it moved like no human I've ever seen. And once it was gone, I saw the other person it had been standing next to. She had red hair, tall and a spear. She spoke to this creature, or at least was standing next to it, but it didn't hurt her. Not a hair on her red, cursed head. Well, doesn't take too much to figure. You have a great warrior, like Hilda is. Imagine what it would be like if that great warrior decided to throw in her lot with the other creatures. It wouldn't be the first time she betrayed people for her own wishes. Now, I'd like an insight check on this because you can hear his voice is getting more strained as he talks about this.
A natural 1. Nothing remarkable at all.
Blank thoughts, heads empty, right? Just like
Yes, that's her.
But either way, you can tell his voice is a little strained. And he says, anyway, if I were you, I would, who knows, but maybe someone is working with this thing, whatever it is. And maybe this is the thing that's been taking people out of the village, and maybe Hilda knows something about it. Maybe you should ask her what it's like, if you can get her to let go of her spear for long enough to look in your direction. Anyway, that's your business and hers. And he sort of turns, doesn't turn all the way away, but he kind of picks up again his hammer, his metal hammer.
Do you also happen to know anything of a man named Ingvar?
Ingvar? Oh, yeah, it was that merchant fellow. Maybe. I didn't spend much time with him. I saw him drinking with Skarda one night, but that's not a usual... Everyone who comes here drinks with Skarda eventually. You gotta be careful. If you don't get into that club, the I Drank with Skarda club, well, eventually you'll find out that everyone becomes a part of that club down the line. And outside, you very faintly hear a...
That's a loud fucking snore, Jesus. Oh, that's why they made him the shipwright, because of all the wood he's been sawing?
Ha ha! I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he says, Bo says, actually, he's a damn good shipwright, if he can stay sober long enough to do it.
Well, do you happen to see Ingvar leave? Like, did he leave town?
I think he did. His ship was here one day and gone the next. So, as far as I know, he left.
I see. Well, I don't want to keep you any further then. So thank you very much, Bo. I see you around.
All right. And he turns and then, again, starts doing the aforementioned, hammering away.
Clink, clink, clink. Right.
When you leave, your Yasib sort of turns to you and says, These people are even more desperate than the ones we found before on the island. They don't seem to trust each other or their leaders.
Well, they do seem to trust me enough to share information with me, which is nice.
Exactly. And doesn't that make you wonder why they're willing to trust a perfect stranger within several hours of her arrival, and they won't even talk to each other for more than 2 minutes?
I thought it because I was being nice.
And he sort of He sort of nods and smiles a bit. Well, you're always nice. The question is whether it makes sense for them to do it. And Rick Mod sort of cackles and says, if they can't get the help they need from the inside, the best they can do is look to the horizon and to the strangers they'll find there.
Sure. What you said. So let's continue. Maybe we can find this Hilda person.
Okay. Where do you want to go to try to track her down?
Does the hall have any windows?
There are no windows in the hall.
Okay. Right, I guess we'll just start walking around the village again and see who we see.
Okay. Yeah, for the most part, you do not see anyone that you haven't already. You still hear the clanging from the house behind you. You see the dragging of the drag marks up to the house. But of course you don't see Scard, who presumably is still sleeping it off on the other side of the boat. But you don't see anyone else. As I say, there are a lot of these sort of like, before they were suspicious, now they seem more curious, but still there's people kind of like, staring at you out of the window.
Right.
Find more cheer in a graveyard.
Considering that the people are just like staring out of the window, they don't look like they want to talk, do they?
Hard to say, but I mean, they definitely look like they're batted down the hatches, right? Like they're barricading themselves in. They don't necessarily seem afraid of you in particular, just sort of generally afraid, generally disconnected, something.
Yeah, in that case, Genofifa would like walk up to one of those houses.
Okay. Do you have a thought about which one?
The closest one. I don't know where I am right now. So
okay. Well, I mean, if you were here before, like that, that's where Bo the blacksmith is. Then you were near the longhouse, so you could tell me if you wanted to walk like in this direction or if you wanted to go up here. The burned houses are here to the south.
Would have gone like this way around.
Okay. So yeah, so you could probably knock on the doors.
Well, like she wouldn't knock. She would like if she sees someone peeking out.
She does. Oh yes, that definitely happens a couple times.
Yeah. So like when that happens again, at some point she would like be like hello, and like jog up to the house.
And they're kind of like,
do you have a moment to talk? No. Hey, hi. I'm Genofifa. Hello.
just disappears out of sight.
I was hoping you could help me figure out what's going on here.
Silence.
Well, I tried. Okay, let's keep walking. By the way, while I'm here, and I look like towards the northeast, what do I see in that direction? Like down the road?
In the northeast, it kind of you start to see some foothills, and then further along the foothills, as you get more towards the interior of the land, heads towards, in the far distance, mountains with the sort of snow caps on top of them. So it gets a little bit more, I don't know, maybe, I guess, like busy might be the way that I would describe it. Mountainous, yeah. The terrain gets more interesting. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, it's true. Less flat land.
I'll
right?
keep my mouth shut.
Yeah. No. Listen. I see how it is. That's fine. It's all good. But in fact,
actually a running gag in Asterix in Belgium.
Oh, really?
That the only elevation you can find in Belgium is the mound walls that the Roman legionaries built for their camps.
Mm-hmm. That's right. I actually sort of that's right. Actually, I remember that a little bit. One thing I did want to mention: are you only looking to the northeast, or are you looking around the interior? So, like in other words,
basically whatever my eye can glean from my position at this moment.
So one thing that I did want to mention is that up to the northwest, you see a set of, and let me see if I can zoom it out enough. Yeah, like basically over in this direction. Let me bring you to the other map, actually. So here. Like over here-ish.
Giant, enormous coins.
I know, right? You see these massive coins over in there. So basically to the northwest, you can see what looks like at first like lumpy grassland. But as you look more closely, you see a group of moss-laden sunken stones. Just a bit of them, but it's weird. Like they're like mossy lumps in the hillside to the northwest of the town. So northeast, more hills and then mountains. Northwest, this, up to the northwest, probably you would guess maybe 20 minutes walk from here. These mossy bumps and lumps that you can see from your vantage point.
Bumps and lumps?
Yeah. Like little hillocks, maybe little hillocks, maybe something like that.
Hillocks.
Yep. One of my favorite words I don't get to use enough. Hillock. I'll climb the hillock.
You said one a lot in other games.
Right.
I remember when you had to explain to me what a hillock is.
A hillock is. Right.
Because it does sound like a hiccup.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we basically make a round through the town, see if we spot anybody else.
Okay. Let's see.
And then we would head back to the ship, I guess?
Yeah, assuming that you're not going into any of the buildings I know you tried to go into the one building, that didn't work out, but otherwise, unless there's a specific building, pretty much no. You do see an occasional, like I said before, you do see a guard once in a while. But the guards seem to make they're not walking towards you at all. Like they seem to be making, no effort to engage or connect with you.
Yeah. No, in that case, we'd head back to the ship. And how late is it by now?
4 in the afternoon.
Yeah, in that case, I guess we would, wait, what season was it? I forgot.
I think this was fall, I think we said, right? I think we said it was autumn.
Possibly. Yeah, sure. So it probably will be nightfall in a few hours then. Yeah, in that case we would leave now for Olmsted.
Okay.
So that we make it there before nightfall.
Okay. All right, let's bring you up to that map. And let's bring you over to the island. So that is over here. And now I'm going to have to move the map back over for people. Let's go this way. Chat, follow me. It is late elsewhere in the world, even though it is but 2:45 here. Okay.
8:45 here. No, I'm just extraordinary sleepy all the time, but specifically lately.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, chat, moving this way over here.
All the time.
Okay, there we go. Let's make it like that. Okay, so now you can see. You can now see the island on the western side of your map, chat. Okay, so now you're on the west. You can see the island on the western side of the map, and as I mentioned, it's a fairly quick journey. Probably the passage is maybe an hour to get across to that. And as you get closer to it, you can see that it's actually a very pleasant looking island. In fact, I think I have a cutaway of it, or like not a cutaway, a profile picture of it, basically. So let me see if I can find it.
Profile picture?
Say again?
A profile picture?
A profile, well, sort of, I guess. I don't know if you can have a profile of an island, but I guess.
I'm not sure.
This is my good side. Okay. Let me show you the picture.
Sure.
There we go. Copy
Oh, I'm
that.
hungry again. I just had dinner before the stream.
Paste this. Crop that. Save as. Here we go. In there. D&D stuff. Beowulf. And okay, and then we put that okay, we put that up here.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm trying to it's not cooperating and I'm just having to move it somewhere. Okay, just save it out here. Like this, and then I'll move it over. All right, game, it's fine. Wait, what? Save as, yes. Oh, not there. I put it in this random folder that's not right. Okay, here we go. Save it here. That's more like it. Okay. Now we move it into here. There we are. And now finally, sorry about that, I can now show this to you. And this one I'll show you on stream. It looks like... this. I wish I could get to everything faster. Okay. Oh my god, I'm sorry. It's not... show me the thing. Why can I not find you? Why can't I find you? All right, fine, game. You win. Fine. I will put it here on the desktop, and never mind. I'll sort it out later. We'll edit it in post. All right. Okay. Sorry about that. Apologies. Don't know why my computer is doing that. Okay. So here we go. Let me try that again. Properties. Yes. Desktop. Okay, here we go. So sorry about that. Took a long time just to show you that. So there we go. You can see that compared to, and I put that on stream, you can see that compared to the island that you've just left, or I should say the coastline that you've just left, it looks much greener and sort of lusher than the land that you just left to. And there's only one settlement on the island, which is called Homestead, and that's the one that you actually see in that picture, which is kind of nestled along the rocky shoreline. There are dozens of stone houses with thatched roofs that are clustered right there around something, you know, if it's a central square or what. But you'll be able to see, you know, when you arrive. But there's something interesting as you get closer. And that is that you can hear, coming from it, some music.
Party time!
Yeah, you hear music coming from the shore. Wildly different than the place you just left.
Very nice. Yeah, we keep going for the shore.
Okay. So when you arrive, the crew pulls the boat up. You can tell that the crew is relieved to be in a place where there's actual, like, noise. And you can see now that you're here that there are dozens of these stone houses that I mentioned, and they are clustered around a central square. And there are children that are playing at carding wool. You can see people sort of talking with each other, gesticulating. You can see what is a group of sheep going along behind a shepherd, and talking to a man standing with a tray of what looks like bread. There are old men and women sitting in chairs, knitting and chatting with each other. There's a lot of laughter and happiness and talk and all that. It is night and day from the place that you just left. And as you are sort of coming into the settlement, I'm going to assume that you're going to do the same thing you did before, where you leave your crew and you're going to bring your followers. Is that right? Okay. When you walk into the town, you can see that there is a wizened woman who approaches. And I will show you what that woman looks like. She is... I'm going to put her over on the island. There we go.
A man-eater?
Coming in now. No, she's not. Okay. So she is a wizened woman.
Matching hair.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. And she is carrying with her a basket that's full of brightly colored yarn. And she lifts her arm to wave at you. And then when she does that, the basket falls from her group, and a bunch of yarn balls, like ochre yellow and cobalt blue and madder red and all these ones, like spill across the ground. And she says, "Oh!" And then she cries out and quickly kneels and starts collecting up the yarn.
How far away is she?
She's like right at the edge of the settlement as you're coming into it. So like not in the town square, but towards the outskirts of the town.
No, I don't want to know where she is. I want to know how far away she is.
Oh, she's, I don't know, 100 feet. You can see her from where you are.
Okay. I regret asking. I don't know how much 100 feet is. I guess
close enough that
walking.
It would take you 30 seconds to get to her, probably.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then I jog up to her and help her pick up her stuff.
Oh, thank you. Huh, that was how stupid of me. I saw you and I wanted to welcome you myself, and then... Well, now you can see when you're up too close to her that she has long white hair that's pulled into a thick braid. But one thing I want to note, Genevieve, is something you probably would appreciate here, is that there is intricate embroidery that you can see covering the yoke of her dress and that encircles the hem of her ankle-length skirt.
Oh, no.
The colors on her clothing are very bright and vibrant, just as bright and vibrant as the yarn, actually, that fell out of her arms.
I'm having dark flashbacks.
Yeah.
What was her name? Kelda? Was that her name?
Yep. Kelda the seamstress,
Ooh.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She has she has a needle. No. Yep.
A silver needle.
A silver needle. Okay. And she says, well, it's a pleasure to have you here, although I don't know where you're from originally. You just came from, where'd you come from exactly?
We actually just came from Herrogate.
Oh. Well,
yeah,
you probably came to a happier place now. That's not a pleasant place these days.
It definitely seems that this place is much happier than Herrogate. But by the way, I'm Genevieve. Nice to meet you.
Ah, well, my name's Frida. I'm Frida the Weaver, and well, it's good to see you. Also, I just realized that chat does not see this person because for some reason the centerpiece went. There we are. Now you see her. Okay. And she says, yes, I'm also a member of the assembly. This is Homestead here. And, well, this is the only place that's got any people in it, at least on the Isle of Home. The rest of it's mostly sheep and grass and, well, fine wool and finer meat. That's the word that we like to speak of. And, well, I'd much rather be living here than across the way over there, anyway.
Yeah, I can imagine. So what's with the music? Is there a festival happening? What's going on?
Well, there is actually going to be a festival coming up soon. But it's not really happening for another month or so, so you've come too early for it. We have a winter festival, and then in the summer, well, the early spring really, that's the sheep shearing festival, and that's one of the big ones. Oh, it's wonderful. There's a market, and we sell things. Actually, people come from elsewhere. I wasn't joking. The best clothing you can get and the best meat you can find right here on the Isle. A lot of times we make some extra money to be able to hold us through the lean times, especially when we get there in the winter. But we'll celebrate the passing of the year when it comes to it. Right now, we're just enjoying ourselves. There's always music around. Do you don't have that where you come? Well, I mean, you wouldn't have it in Herrogate. Those people wouldn't know happiness if it hit them in the face. But anyway, there's always a song going on here of some kind or another.
Oh, that does sound lovely. I mean, there's occasionally scouts and the likes playing where I'm from, but...
Oh, you should go see the scope then. Well, his workshop's right nearby. If you're in the mood for the festival, well, the spring one that I was telling you about, we have always a great feast along with that festival to reenact Arn's historic victory against the troll. Without Arn, none of us would be here, actually. He was a good man.
Right, so adventure is cancelled. Gilofif's just going to stay here indefinitely. She's like, Arn, yes. Actually, I came to ask about that, now that you mention it.
Oh? About what? About Arn?
Yeah, I was, I don't know. Where were you going anyway?
Oh, well, I was actually just, I saw you and I turned away from where I was headed. I was actually just going to be going back to my home back there. And, well, it's in the center of the village, but I happened to see people coming. And, well, we try to welcome people here when we can. I thought you might be lost and I could direct you. And now that I've got all my yarn back, and by this point you've, collected enough yarn, she says, I'll be able to take what I need. Don't forget, if you have anything that you need sewn or knitted, anything at all, I'm the person to come and talk to. Everyone knows Frida the Weaver. I'm the best weaver in these parts, although don't tell anyone I said so. They might take it the wrong way. But I am really the best. If I do say so myself, my grandmother was the one who taught me, and she was the best weaver I think the Wales coast has ever seen. The Whale Road has ever seen.
Sorry. How about we walk a bit with you, and you can tell me about the thing with Arn and the troll?
Oh, certainly. Well, if it's just the festival, that's fine. Well, there's not very much to say, but well, yes, come with me. So she kind of gestures that you should continue with her, and she stands up and starts moving. And as she talks, you can see there are some people who look over at you curiously, but whereas before the people were doing the, staring at you from the houses, these people sort of look, they smile, some of them kind of wave or they nod pleasantly at you. Some of the kids look at you and then they lose interest immediately because they just want to go back to playing or whatever. Completely different vibe, right? And as she's walking towards the center of the village, she says, well, the way it works is that every spring we gather to celebrate the day that Arn defeated the troll and freed us. Well, at the center of the festival, there's a reenactment of the battle. It's very exciting, especially the young people get into that one. There's a lamb that's tied to a stake in the clearing just outside the troll's cave. A person wearing a troll costume, out of game, I apologize, Emily, for what I'm about to say next, emerges and kills the lamb. Yes, that's what they do. But just as the trolls poised a feast, another person, and that one's dressed as the hero Arn. I remember my husband played him one year. That was a great day for him. Anyway, he leaps from the bushes, and then Arn deals the killing blow to the troll with an axe, and she kind of does the air quotes. Then the axe head splits in two. We have a special wooden axe that we made to do just that. Very exciting. And then everybody cheers. The scope comes out and carries the remaining half of the axe head. That's the original, mind you, not the one that's there. It's the original axe head that Arn himself wielded. We keep it in the assembly hall. And then all of the assembly members give their speeches. Sometimes they go on a bit long, but politicians, right? And then all of them in attendance get a great feast of lamb. It's a wonderful time, and it's the one that we all look forward to. And then there's celebrations, and it's not too bad for visitors who want to stay and buy a few extra items, if you know what I mean.
Uh-huh.
By this point, she's almost in the center of the square.
Have a magic troll-killing axe here. That's great. That totally wouldn't have been helpful a while ago.
Oh, you have experience with trolls, do you?
You could say that. But actually, we came here from Herrogate because We are trying to figure out what has been going on over there. Like, we have heard horrible stories, and we were hoping maybe we could do something about those.
Well, and she sort of pauses, and then she says, "Don't take this the wrong way, but I don't like to speak of other places. It's not. Well, I would like you to make a persuasion check for me, please, Genevieve. And because you helped her with the yarn, you're going to do this at advantage."
Outstanding. That's a 13.
Mm-hmm. Now I have a question. I know you went through these before. Do you have any followers that have a gift related to some use of artisans' tools? Like, or is it just her with the brewing, maybe? If you know what I'm asking.
Yeah, no, like the only, Genevieve was the artisan in the group.
She was the artisan.
So she was a baker and the brewer. But
so here's what I will do with that.
She doesn't currently have any baker skill as far as rules are concerned.
But because she has it, this will allow me to do something, because we're modifying this slightly because she was a follower. So here's what I will say. If you activate one of your followers, now you know the drill with this. That means you have to activate a follower, which means spending them. But if you used one of them, and I'm thinking particularly here of either Yasib or possibly Aban ibn Mundir, Falaki, the husband. If you activate one of those two, then I'll let you raise the level of what happened. I haven't told you if it's a success or not yet, but I'll let you raise that level of success, if it is one, by one, or go from a failure to a success. So in other words, you can boost the effect of what just happened. And I haven't told you what it is yet, but you could boost that if you wished.
Then I'm going to use Yasib.
Okay. I'm going to just make a little mark. And as I say, that's slightly bending the rules, but because you were the follower before, that's a little bit different. Okay. So I'm going to do that as spent. Okay. So she sort of stops when you say this, and she says, "Well, all right. Here's the thing about Herrogate. This is what I would say. I mentioned the Scop before, right? Well, the Scope actually witnessed the great battle with the troll with his own eyes, and ever since the poor boy's bad luck has really turned around. But the reason that matters is that," and her voice gets lower, "you see, the Scope, well, he really loved Arnie, you know? And he loved him so much that he goes each evening to the site of the battle outside the troll's cave to thank the gods for bringing Arn to Homestead. The cave's not all that far from here, you know. If you talk to the Scope, he might be able to tell you something about Arn. And if he can tell you something about Arn, well, you might be able to learn something about Herrogate. That place hasn't been the same since Arn left. And it hasn't been the same since his mother died not that long after either." And she trails off and then sort of looks at you and says, "Well, I need to be off to my home. You can see the people are right here. There's plenty of taverns and oh, and she waves, and you see a slight young man coming out, and underneath his arm, most obvious thing of all time, is a man holding a lyre. And she waves and she says, "Oh, Scope, come here. Oh, I've got someone you need to meet." And the Scope comes over, and he, you can see that he's dressed in kind of this simple brown tunic, and his shaggy hair is spilling out from beneath his fur-trimmed leather cap. And when he sees you, he nods, and he says, "Our time is well met. Our time is well met. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad that you've come at this time of year. I'm glad that you've made this coastal stime. And now you must listen to my rhyme." he plucks a string, and we bring our session to a close.
Nice.
So you'll have a chance to
Very
talk to
nice.
this scope. Thank you. You'll have a chance to talk to this scope the next time. That's why you want to be here, chat, for the next time. You get to talk to a bard, Genevieve and a bard hanging out with.
Wait. Since this is an NPC, does he get to make seduction check on my character, or how does it work?
I mean, listen, that depends on what your character thinks.
Or do I have to be a dragon for that?
It is true, right? Yeah, all of a sudden, you can see it's just like, I see, yes. It's going to be Amal with, oh gosh, right? Like just, not.
Oh my god!
I don't know.
Oh,
it
you have
wasn't
such nice arms.
Everyone I know
Upper
immediately,
arm
everyone's like, man, tell me more about the arms. I'm like, anyway. So fun times. And you actually got a fair bit, at least at the early stages of this investigation going. It seems like you are going to be going to doomed places quite a bit. Although this doomed place has got other stuff going on. Obviously the people that you started chatting with who were kind of like, go away, doomed person, and then even the people who would talk to you are all sort of like unfriendly, especially when you get to this nice place, which is like super Lovelyville, and it sort of sets off whatever's going on at Herrogate.
Yeah, this is probably completely without issues, this place, definitely.
Yeah, sure. That's fine.
Yeah, what could possibly go
Absolutely. It's
wrong?
a resort town, right? Like, why would you, Yeah, absolutely. But it was fun to see it, and I really am enjoying how different Genevieve is. I love the fact that you were like, wait, I'm the hero? Like all the people are gathered looking at you, and they're like, well, yeah, what the hell are you doing here? You have a boat, you have followers, and you're like, yeah, I guess. It was very funny to watch that, and I'm going to be very curious to see what Genevieve thinks of the people around them. Like I imagine Runesild would have been way different in dealing with Thornville, right? It would just been like, you need to shut up and tell me what or whatever.
Yeah, she would have just gone in and punched him.
Exactly.
Like, the fuck are you telling
What's
me?
going on? Yeah, like tell me what I need to know. Where's Rachel? But instead,
Rachel!
she would have totally Batmaned it, and Genevieve is like, thanks, let me. So anyway, so how did, and I guess I want to,
kind of people.
I want to ask you, like, how did you feel about today? But specifically what I want to ask is there anything else you learned about Genevieve today as you were playing her? And then where will the fine folks see you next?
What did I learn about her?
If anything, I mean, if you didn't, but I'm just curious.
Well, like the thing is, because I only have played her once, I kind of had to like remember what I had already established about her.
Right.
Last time. But like I guess last time I didn't really play to her airheadedness, which I tried to play up more this time around, because that is like one of the character traits I gave her back when she was a follower. So I hope that came through.
Yes.
It's like, wait, why is your name Bo if you are the smith?
Absolutely.
That
although
sense.
she also, I mean, it's kind of this like pleasant naivete or something, like, she's not an idiot. She's just sort of like
no. She's just an airhead.
Yeah. Right. So that's just, fair. So there's some more of that than then came through.
That's. So yeah, I want to play up that part more, because I don't think I've ever played a character like that who's just like easily distracted by weird stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like picking up on the wrong things and just rolling with them.
Yep.
So also just like being nice, a nice person. I never play nice people. All the people characters I always play are a bit well, not necessarily mean, just like a bit more selfish like that, I guess.
Right, or without social graces per se, right? Like, I mean,
yeah.
But this is like stretching what you do then in terms of your play, right? Like, I mean, it's broadening that kind of thing. Yeah.
Really like coming up with actually different characters. That's like one of the things that I always found very unrelatable when I hear other players who like basically, like when they say like they basically play the same character over and over again. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Like, no, this is not me dunking on folks. I want to specify that's like a perfect developed way to play, but like it's not me. I do want to play different characters every time.
Yep. Totally get that. I get a little bit of the
So,
benefit as the game master of getting to do that automatically because there's always these different personalities
yeah,
that are around. So yeah,
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 definitely. So yeah, I had a grand old time, a gay old time, as I said in the old times.
that's right.
So yeah, this was a lot of fun. I don't know when the next need to figure that out. Like next month is gonna be a bit chaotic. I don't know if we're gonna stream.
Whoop, you broke. Yeah, I don't. Well, next week.
Test. 1, 2.
Yeah, I hear you. We are
Well,
going to
yeah.
definitely stream next Tuesday. In fact, this will be the last. Next Tuesday will be my last pre-Gen Con stream because we're going to do our Fighting Fantasy game book illustration stream next week. So it'll be nice and chill. And then the next
Which
time
book are we doing?
we are finishing Slaves of the Abyss. I think we figured that the
we
last
haven't finished
one.
that one yet.
That's
Okay.
but we figured that that's the last one because of wherever we are in the book. So. Yeah, and then the next time I'll see you after that will be in London, as Emily pointed out. You'll be
Londinium.
there.
Let's go.
In Londinium, that's right.
Yeah.
Where should people find you online, Tari?
You can find me on Blue Sky, on Tumblr, and on Kara at TariToons, where you will find me posting my arts and stuff.
You still liking Kara?
Yes, very much.
Okay.
So. Been a bit slow lately because like the place is not like super great for like fan art and stuff. Like I said, like last time, the place has like still a bit of growing pains, as they say.
Right. Work in progress. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. Otherwise, other than that, I do very good. So yeah, but I'm primarily on Tumblr. That's like my number one spot to be, basically. Well.
Okay.
So yeah, people go follow me there, where I post my drawings. A lot of Metal Gear fan art lately, the last few months.
I was gonna say where lately is defined as several months.
Yeah, well, I mean, in the immortal words of Blind Guardian, time. What is time?
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, it's just like time flies when you're having fun.
That's right.
So yeah, go follow me there. And yeah, next Tuesday here. And then next month, we don't know yet how schedules line up, and with Art traveling all over the place, and then me traveling. So maybe nothing next month. Who knows? But then September again.
That's right. It possibly maybe like the last week or two of August, but Tari and I will discuss it. And either way, you'll see if you come to the event, you'll see Tari there for sure.
Yes, do please come to London. Please tell people again the date and place.
Yes, again, that will be the Clapham Omnibus Theater, and it is the 19th of August. Sorry, not the 19th, the 17th, I beg your pardon, of August, which is a Saturday, Saturday, August 17th, and the Clapham Omnibus Theater. And if you go to buythediceroll.com, you can buy your tickets right now. Please do that, because we'd love to know what tickets we have and what we're dealing with, so you can come to this event and meet Tari and other awesome people there. That'll be good. Thank you, Tari. Good work today. It was a lot of fun, and I look forward to seeing what happens when you're hanging out on this nice, pleasant island soon. But otherwise, thank you. I'll see you next week for the illustration.
Probably gonna get murdered. That's like the case with where people are so nice.
You'll just get overcharged at a hotel, and
cultists.
it'll be fine.
It's all cultists.
Yeah, they're all cultists. That could happen. It could be Wicker Man, but I'm sure it won't be. Like it's.
No. Not the Beast.
It'll be fine.
I've never actually seen that movie, but I do know the Not the Beast meme. But yeah. So yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you, Tari.
Good night.
Thank you. Sleep well. Talk to you soon. And
Bye-bye.
Jack, we get some love for Tari. Thank you, Tari. Bye for now.
Bye.
There we go. All right. Well, as the time continues to move on with Beowulf, that was fun. I'm glad we had a chance to do that, and that'll actually be not quite the last tabletop thing of July. We have, I think, one or two other things. We have, for example, the fact that the awesome, amazing community D&D is going to be doing some stuff, and I think that's going to be happening, if I'm not mistaken, this coming Friday, he said doubtfully. I'm pretty sure it's on Friday. Let me double check. Yes, so Thursday we have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Friday we have Community D&D Waterdeep. Actually, yeah, that what we just did because By the Dice Roll had to be rescheduled because of real life player stuff that happened. It means that what you just saw is the last of the tabletop stuff that we're going to be doing, that I'm going to be hosting this month, but it is not the last tabletop overall. So on Thursday, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, as we close in on the conclusion of that awesomeness known as that game. Friday will be Community D&D. That'll be, again, note, it is a Friday night as opposed to a Wednesday night. Community D&D, Waterdeep Dragon Heist with the Shadow Crew. And then Saturday will be the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth again. Sunday, the 30th, will be a special Heretic pre-release that I mentioned before, the final book in my Grey Assassin trilogy from Athos Arts. Special pre-release stream happening at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. If you're in person, you can get a book signed by me, several books signed by me. There'll be a Q&A, there'll be a reading at Black Rock Books in Bridgeport, Connecticut. That's 5:30 on Sunday the 28th. And then on Tuesday the 30th, the final stream pre-Gen Con, 1 week from today, will be the Fighting Fantasy Gamebook illustration stream. Before I head out, I will be trying to stream the Friday D&D event at Gen Con, D&D with writers. But other than that, I may not be streaming much until we get back. My plan is to try to get in one more day of stream, which would be no Pen and Pixels. It would be August 6th. Oh, no, I take that back. There would be Pen and Pixels that day. I take that back. Tuesday the 6th would be my regular stream and then Pen and Pixels. And then I'm going to be off. And I wanted to make this announcement too. So starting as of when I get back from Gen Con, I'm going to try to stream, as I say, on Tuesday the 6th. After that, I have made the decision that I am not going to have any streams scheduled until we get to the 17th for the D&D event at the Omnibus Theater. I am going to try to stream that if I possibly can, because I think it'll be cool and I'd like to do it. But other than that, I'm not going to have any formal streams until after I return. I'll be back on, I think, Thursday the 22nd. So my next regular stream will not be until Saturday the 24th. So basically, I have Tuesday the 6th streams. Then I will be off the 8th, 10th, 13th, 15th, 17th, 20th, and 22nd. Sorry, not the 17th. The 17th is the D&D event, so I will stream that. But I'll be off the 8th, 10th, 13th, 15th, 20th, and 22nd. And then the 24th would be my next regular stream. Now, I'm a little nervous about this. This will be the first time since I started streaming 12 years ago that I've taken that long off in a row without streams. But I think it's really important for me to be able to focus my attention completely on family to the extent I can. There may be ad hoc streams. There may be like, hey, we're walking along. We're here at Professor Tolkien's home. Let me stream that. There may be stuff like that. So that stuff could happen. But in terms of formal scheduled streams, after I get back from Gen Con on Tuesday the 6th, I'll do those Tuesday the 6th streams, and then I will be basically on vacation from streaming, except for Saturday the 17th, which is scheduled. But I'll be off otherwise, except for ad hoc stuff here and there. And I hope that people understand why we're doing that, because it's just, I think it's important to be able to focus on that. And then when I come back, Saturday the 24th will be regular, and then we'll have the last week of August as we get ready to head into the fall. I'll have a lot to talk about then regarding my trip to England. I'm very excited about that, and all that stuff as we head into September. Now, there will, during that time, however, be at least one and maybe two community D&D streams. So the channel will not be completely dark. There will be a couple of streams from folks streaming on the channel, but there will not be stuff other than that relating to those things, at least formally. The other thing I wanted to mention is that the Dune Imperium stream, which was originally supposed to happen tomorrow, actually Wednesday the 24th, has been postponed, and it has to do basically with rescheduling and orienting the way the campaign is going to be placed. Without getting into great detail, the GM is changing around thematically what the campaign is going to be about a little bit. So that means that we have pushed it back. My hope is that we'll be able to get started with that campaign either in late August or in September. But we will be having the Dune premiere. It's just not going to be happening tomorrow. I hadn't been talking about it because I've known for the last week or so that probably we were going to have to move it. So there won't be anything tomorrow night, but we will have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on Thursday. Thursday, Community D&D on Friday, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth again on Saturday, and then the special Heretic pre-release on Sunday, and then next week, as I said, the Fighting Fantasy Gamebook illustration stream with Tari before I head off to Gen Con, at which point the next time you'll see me will be the D&D stream from there, which will be Friday the 2nd, and then I'll be off until the following Tuesday. I'll do my streams, and then I will head off to England. So that's what we're looking at. Now, last announcement about schedule for those of you who missed it. I was supposed to do Ghosts of Saltmarsh this afternoon, but we're not doing that because we had some player situations that came up, which meant that I can't do that. So instead, what we will be doing is we will be doing the game Barony. I am super excited about that. That is going to be, just give me a second here. Okay. Right. Good. Okay, cool. So yes, I'm just noting it. So I'm going to be playing Barony this afternoon over on GOGcom's Twitch channel at 4 p.m. Eastern. So please join us for some multiplayer fun. It's going to be a good time. Barony is weird and crazy and fun, so I'm going to be having fun with that. So definitely join us for that. That's going to be happening at 4 p.m. Eastern. So Thursday is, I don't know that Thursday's probably not the finale. My guess is that probably Saturday will be Hillness, because we're all on main quest stuff now. So it's basically just straight up main quest. And so, you know, I don't know how long it takes to get through just main quest stuff between now, but I'm assuming and hoping that it's another, say, 7 to 8 hours of just the main quest, because I really want to try to get this finished before travel. So I'm hoping that'll be the case. So yes. Yeah. So that's going to be the find. Yes, I have to find the ancient temple. Right. That's where we're going next, is the ancient temple, actually. So that's the plan. And I'm hoping that means that that'll be enough for us to join, he said, hopefully. Maybe 2 or 3 hours. Oh, is that all that's left? Is like 2 or 3 hours? I hope so, only because I'd love to make sure that I have it, because if I miscalculated, I'd love to be able to make sure that... Okay, good. Awesome. I'm glad. That means that that'll work. If that turns out to be true, that would be perfect, because I'll finish it just before I leave there, and then when I get back, we'll have some new stuff to go over. I've loved the game so much, but you know, it'll be time to move on. I have played quite a bit about it, so it'll be good times. Cool. So I am excited. You're thinking I gotta tell Ava, like, I need to leave you alone so I can watch the Final Fantasy. Ava's welcome to watch too, you know. Ava's welcome to watch too. You can always do that. I mean, listen, that's totally cool. I'm all about that. That's no problem. Would love to have to be, you know, we'll see. But anyway, so that, however, chat, is going to do it for me here, although it's not going to do it for me overall, because I am now going to head over, and as I say, in about 40 minutes, I will be over at GOGcom's Twitch channel with Pen and Pixels playing some Barony. If you liked and saw what you heard today, please follow us here on the channel. Please check out our YouTube at !ArvTube, and thank you to those of you who are watching me on YouTube today. My Discord is !ArvCord. Please spread the word by way on the YouTube. Please spread the word about that channel and about the word. Please spread the word about my Gen GM's channel, the show that I do with one Mr. Zach Clay. It would be lovely if you could spread the word about that. Okay, cool. That sounds good, Helness. Yeah, so that's perfect. That's good. So yes, please make sure that you do that. That is, what was I saying? So that's !ArvTube. !ArvCord is the Discord channel where you can hang out with the Arvanauts in between streams. Twitter, !ArvTweets. Blue Sky, !ArvSky. Website, arvanelleron.com. Remember, that website is also where you'll be able to find links to our new upcoming podcast. For those of you who missed it, I'm going to be doing a podcast with Carlos Hernandez, Claire Cooney, Adam Petrosino, and Zach Clay. They are going to be continuing the Forbidden Library adventure, basically in between parts 2 and 3 of my Forbidden Library series. This is not going to be live streamed. It's going to be recorded. The vidcast part of it, I think, is going to be not as big a deal as the audio cast of it. But I am excited to be able to do it and to bring everybody together for this thing. And we're going to be releasing it over the next few months. So we're going to do our first recording of it this coming Friday. And then, as I'm going to be talking to Triffid about, we're going to be getting it edited and posted after that. So it's going to be good times. I am excited for that podcast. So in any case, that's the podcast for that stuff happening. Again, I mentioned, I believe, the shop, !Arv shop, my merchandise area. Patreon is !Arv Treon. That's really the financial backbone of the channel. So please do support us over there, as well as subbing to the channel, which gets you those custom sub badges and emotes to use here, there, and everywhere across Twitch. On the publishing side, !Icarus. That's my graphic novel from Athos Arts. !Library is my best-selling tales and tomes from the Forbidden Library, my 5e adventure and source book, which I've just spoken about, and Greyshade. That is my Greyshade IP, Greyshade and Renegade, first 2 books in the Grey Assassin trilogy, critically acclaimed and award-winning. You can get those right now at that link. You can also get the audiobook of Greyshade from our very own Trent Sparks. You can also pre-order the tabletop role-playing game of Greyshade, which will be out late this year, coming to you from Brandon O'Brien as the lead designer and from Alligator Alley Entertainment. And Greyshade will also let you get over to Heretic, which is the final book in the Grey Assassin trilogy, which will be releasing 1 week from today to the general public, but also, so that'll be releasing 1 week from today, but also on Sunday, we will have that special pre-release event at BlackRock Books, where you can get those books in person for Heretic, and all the others for that matter. So if you want to get all that stuff, please make sure to come to BlackRock Books, but also, if you're not going to be able to get to that, please do go and pre-order them now, and we will be able to get these books for you and send them off to you when you make that link. That's going to be cool. I did see Brandon's super exciting news, and a little birdie may have told me about that super exciting news a bit ahead of time. Yes, Brandon O'Brien is the poet laureate of Seattle Worldcon. And we have there's other information about Worldcon coming soon that I know about too, which is pretty cool. So I'm excited for that. But yes, congratulations to Brandon O'Brien. He's the poet laureate of the 2025 Worldcon, which is super cool. Obviously very well deserved. And it's going to be great to get a chance to I will definitely be at that Worldcon for reasons I can discuss later. But it'll be great to see Brandon there. And of course, Brandon deserves it. And you should get Can You Sign My Tentacle, which is his poetry book that Brandon has done most recently. And that would be great. So yeah, otherwise, as always, BLM, Black Lives Matter, important to affirm and assert the significance and importance of Black lives. Help Now, the World Health Organization page on suicide prevention. Awesome, Triffid. That's awesome. I'm excited for it. So yes, suicide prevention, making sure you reach out to others when you need help and they reach out to you as well. And Ukraine, Ukraine, to help the people of Ukraine as they fight back against an illegal and illegitimate war with bravery and courage, and send the message we will do so for others in the future as well. I will see you folks in about a half hour, top of the hour, over on GOGCom's Twitch channel for some awesome barony. Please don't miss it. It is going to be a blast. And otherwise, I will see you folks back here on Thursday for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth as we move finally into the home stretch of the game. Super excited for that too. Thanks for being here. More Beowulf, hopefully next month. If not, definitely in September. And yeah, I look forward to more of that down the line. Until then, everyone, please be good to each other. I'll see you in a bit at GOGCom. Thank you to my wonderful mods, Dragon Spear, Emily the Invincible, Hillness, Triffity Mats. Thank you so much to my wonderful Patreon supporters and subscribers, Dragon, Emily, Hillness, Triffid, Effect Life. And thank you to my wonderful viewers. Thank you to Anime Wolf. Thank you to Betrader, Big Boss, Craigery, Determinology. It's been a while. Good to see you, Determinologies. Imaginary Exponent, hello as always, Jagtress, and Nonstop. Thank you, everybody. Much love, and I'll see you folks in just a bit. Until then, please be good to each other, and bye for now. Then on the strand, with steeds and treasure, and armor their roomy and ring-dight ship was heavily laden. High its mast rose over Hrothgar's hoarded gems. A sword to the boat guard Beowulf gave, mounted with gold. On the mead bench, since he was better esteemed, that blade possessing heirloom old. Their ocean keel boarding, they drove through the deep, and Daneland left. A sea-cloth was set, a sail with ropes firm to the mast, the flood timbers moaned. Nor did wind over billows that wave-swimmer blow across from her course. The craft sped on, foam-necked it floated forth o'er the waves, keel firm-bound over briny currents, till they got them sight of the Geatish cliffs, home-known headlands. High the boat, stirred by winds, on the strand updrove. Helpful at haven the harbour guard stood, who long already for loved companions by the water had waited and watched afar.